Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Game Chat. I'm Chris, and with me today we have Kate.
Hi.
Corey.
Hello.
And Jamie.
Hello.
And today we're going to be jumping right into The Last of Us Part 2. This is going to be a spoiler cast. We were originally going to try and do like a spoiler-free review part beforehand, but then we realised it's not really possible with this game. That's not an easy thing to do. So we thought we'd just jump straight into spoilers, sort of. First thing I want to go around the room. I say around the room. We're all on different webcams, but still. I want to go around the room asking everyone's history with Naughty Dog and The Last of Us. Like what you've played, what you haven't played, all that jazz. I'll go first. The first Naughty Dog game I ever played was Crash Bandicoot. Not that it counts in terms of the story games, but I knew him as a studio from that. And then I completely didn't play any of the Uncharted games. I then jumped into The Last of Us after I heard how amazing it was. Like a month after it came out, I had to borrow my brother-in-law's PS3, the fat one, to play the game and borrowed his Last of Us.
Not the fat balloon-in-law, but the fat.
I was going to say that's really rude.
Yes, the fat PS3, just to clarify. So I played that.
Wasn't that big?
It was big. The
Yeah,
PS5 is bigger now, but still. Played that. It was amazing. So then, when I got a PS4, I played it again because of the remaster. But then after that, I decided to go back and play the Uncharted games. So I played the collection, and then 4, and then Lost Legacy. So I played them all, but just in a weird order, not the order they came out in. But I love Naughty Dog games. They're really, really good story games, and I was proper hyped coming into Last of Us Part 2. Corey, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I never played in the older one, so I never played. I never played Jack, which he also made.
Yeah, I skipped
Jack
that
and
one.
Dexter. I started with them on Uncharted, and I played Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3 on the PlayStation 3, and they were all incredible games. Definitely deserve the revere that they all got. And then when they came out with what I feel about Naughty Dog is they kind of have aged very well with their audience.
Yeah, 100%.
So you started off with Crash as a kid, then you get to Jack and Dexter as a preteen, then you get to Uncharted as your teenager, and then you get to the first proper adult game I feel like they made, which was obviously Last of Us.
Yeah,
And going through all those, I think, going through all of those, The Last of Us was really a massive step up in quality from what they had previously. Uncharted, you can tell the similarities between the two, but as far as storytelling goes, it's just an unbelievable experience.
Kate, you want to go next?
This is a call-out post. So I did play Crash when I was younger, but I was more of a Spyro fan, so I can't really say I got hardcore into Crash. I haven't played any of the Uncharteds. I tried. You made me try and play Last of Us when it came to the PlayStation 4, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like the gameplay. I couldn't really get into it. So it's only because you reacted so strongly to the second one and stuff that I'd heard about it that you eventually wore me down. So I've watched the story of Last of Us 1 on YouTube, and I have played 2, but I do want to go back and play 1 now. So I'm sorry.
And you haven't played any of the Uncharted. You never even tried them.
Do it.
You were all playing Uncharted. I was playing Tomb Raider, so there's 2 types of people, I guess.
I
Sorry.
don't know who the winner was there, to be honest.
I mean, I played
Okay,
both.
there's 3 because I've played them both.
Yeah.
So,
I've got Tomb Raider in my life, so I don't feel like I need Drake. I've never played one of the games, but his face annoys me. So
No, I can understand that. He does have an annoying face.
I'm just not interested. I'm sorry.
fair enough.
Jamie, how about you?
My first Naughty Dog game was Last of Us on PS3. I didn't play Uncharted until the remastered collection on PS4.
Same.
And I
Did you get
haven't
through more?
played. I played 1, 2, 3. I haven't played 4 or the standalone one.
Oh, you're missing out
Four's
on very good
incredible.
games.
I've honestly forgot about Lost Legacy. I've got about
Lost
halfway
Legacy's
through that game.
It's amazing. It's the best Uncharted.
Yeah, I went back
I don't
and
know.
But that's a
played
different
Last of Us
subject.
again, the remastered version
Yeah.
on
PS4.
PS4,
Hmm.
and that's when I also played the Left Behind DLC for Last of Us.
Oh, that was the first time you played that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same for me. I only recently played the DLC just before
One
this.
of the best DLCs ever released for a game, by
100%.
the way.
Yeah.
Controversial.
You watched it, you didn't get the same effect.
No, I just. I watched the cutscenes and it didn't seem very. Well, it wasn't even cutscenes because they showed a lot of the gameplay in that and it just. Yeah.
It's one that hits you in the feels more than.
Yeah,
the
that's
gameplay.
true. Mm.
It's a lot of character development.
Yeah.
Last of Us is very good at that.
100%.
It is, yeah. It is.
The next thing after that I wanted to touch on before we go into it is our thoughts on the end of 1. Obviously, Joel makes a big decision at the end of that to save Ellie, even though it basically dooms the rest of humanity.
To be fair, mate, I didn't hesitate at all in not operating theatre. I shot them all straight through the face,
I don't know,
like instantly.
Even the defenseless nurses.
I did.
so we got Jamie's. There's Jamie's take. Did you feel like? Do you agree with the decision?
Joel, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with Joel's decision.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Corey?
Go on, Kate, you go.
Okay.
No, you go, because I feel like I'm going to not be too dissimilar from Jamie.
I
But I'll put a little bit more of emotion to it.
Obviously,
I could say a bit more, but
I didn't play this game, but you guys all did, so I heard a lot of the story through you guys. And hearing the ending, I was like, one person for the whole of humanity, like that's if it was a choice, I think maybe I would have chose to let her die. And then watching it, I was like crying, like this is 100% the right thing to do. So I think it is very different when you actually there.
There was no guarantee you could have actually made a cure from killing
That is very true.
It's true.
It was just only a possibility.
Corey, you want to go?
Yeah, I had no problem with Joel saving Ellie at the end, and that was if it was me making that choice, I would do the exact same thing. There was absolutely no choice in that. Now you could see the positives and the negatives. You could see what it was going to cause, but at the end of the day, as the figure that he had taken, which at that point was basically a father figure for Ellie, there was no other choice that could possibly be made.
I kind of.
I feel like it wasn't a choice.
I kind of have like a mix between you guys and Kate, because like I feel, although I understand the decision, I understand with the position he was in, with the relationship they have, and how he saw her as a daughter, like that's an understandable decision for him to come to. I do feel like Ellie expressed to him previously in The Last of Us 1 that she was fine with that. Like if something had to happen like that, she expressed that she wanted to do everything she could to help. So my ideal scenario in that would have been that they woke her up and gave her that choice. Like Joel got there, tried to wake her up if you could. Like obviously the doctors are going to be
Out of an aesthetic,
but like.
No, Chris.
No, like, this is what
we couldn't have made it through that. It was hard enough getting through 2. We couldn't have made it through that.
This is what I mean in terms of like why the Fireflies were in the wrong there. They didn't wake her up. They didn't give her that choice when it should have been her choice. I understand.
That's true as well.
Obviously, I understand the situation they were in at the same time, but like I feel like Joel should, and that's what this game is. This second part's all about. Joel took that decision away from her and took it on his own back to save her, and it was a bit of a selfish act. In his
100%,
and really, 100%. He's the villain of The Last of Us 1.
Ooh,
if in the grand scheme of things, he is the bad guy there, in my opinion. And like, obviously, I love Joel.
You don't have all the facts, Chris.
I think he's amazing, and I think he's a great character, but he's a flawed character. And in the grand scheme of things, he is the villain in Last of Us 1, in my opinion.
Honestly, the only people I'd count as villains in The Last of Us 1 are the cannibals.
Yeah, that's scumbags.
That's it. Yeah, I think they're the only people that I think are
David.
David and the rest, and the rest of his crew are the only ones that I look at and think they're genuinely bad people doing bad things.
I don't think Joel's a genuinely bad person. He's done bad things, but that's through having to survive and stuff. But like, I just feel
there's an element of survival there, and that's why I think a lot of the people that he fought previously are just people trying to get along in the best manner they know how.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, that's exactly what Joel was doing before then. No matter what happens at that point, we weren't there for his whole journey up to the point where he became the Joel we know.
yeah. There's
And
20 years gap
at
there.
that point, he needed to do to survive at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And in that sort of world, it is a very, very dog-eat-dog world. And you need to be harsh, basically, to get along.
World like that has less room for morals.
True.
Definitely.
So going on from that, I want to know everyone's just like overall thoughts of The Last of Us Part 2.
Great game.
Yeah, Jamie, you want to go first? Is that what you got? Great game.
Yeah, it's a great game. It triggers all your emotions, makes you think about decisions. It's just good storytelling.
Mm.
It is. I agree there.
It's incredible game. It's one of the defining games of the generation. It's definitely up there with things like God of War and Horizon. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's just it's a masterclass in storytelling and character work. Really, the way I see it, like the character you never see. I've never played a video game where the characters are so realized and so like fully there. You know what I mean? Just like they're just like real people you would meet in real life in that situation, and that's
and everyone has quirks and everyone's flawed. There's not an individual in the entire thing that's perfect. There's not. And it just shows more what real people are like, as opposed to what a lot of games show these days.
This game haunted me. Like, if I was doing anything other than playing this game, that's all I could think about.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get back on this game. I need to finish the story. It's a very, very good story. I can't really speak for the gameplay because I wasn't really interested in that side. So I played it on like the easiest mode just to get through the story. And I kind of like rushed it a bit. So like, I can't really speak for the gameplay. It's not my favorite kind of gameplay in general, but the story was amazing.
100%. I think the gameplay. We'll quickly touch on gameplay while we can. The gameplay's like ridiculously improved since the first one, in my opinion. It feels way less clunky, a lot more smooth. Just the amount of stuff you think about doing, and you can do it. Like
that is a highlight of the game.
That's more because it's running at 60 rather than 30 FPS.
Well, the smoothness, yeah, but like it feels less. Joel, I felt
the game is running at 60 though.
He just felt.
Last of Us 2 doesn't run at 60.
Say again.
Sorry, Jamie. Sorry to throw that in there. It doesn't.
Well,
but
it's running higher than it was on the.
But it's what I feel is it's the same gameplay as what the first game had, but it's just refined and polished.
Yeah, it's refined 100%.
As where it can be as good as it can possibly be.
Although I personally had no problem with the first game.
I have no problem with the first game. I really liked how it played, and I only played it 2 weeks before I played the new one. Again, on the PS4 Pro, and it ran and played really, really well.
I just felt the first one felt a bit slow and clunky.
But
it wasn't bad for its time, like obviously, but playing it now, it just felt, I don't know, a bit awkward. But that's just me. That could, it could just be me. But like this one felt perfect and fine. I had no problems with this combat at all, or any of the gameplay. Like this. The second one, it did something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but like it did something for me that just clicked. And I'm actually like, I like to sound really good at the combat, but like I really
you are
enjoy
compared to me. When I was watching you play it last night, I was like, I'm so trash at this combat compared to Chris. I can't believe there's a game that Chris is finally better than me at. Like.
Makes a change.
I know.
Yeah, it does.
But like, honestly speaking, I feel like the way that the game plays and the game feels is the part that's changed the least from the original game. I feel like you could go from playing the first game into playing the second game and be immediately comfortable, knowing that you know how everything works, the way crafting works, the way weapons work. I feel like it was the same, but
it's refined. That's the key thing here. It's refined gameplay
and polished. It's very polished.
The bow, that was worse in this game.
The bow was worse in this game. But I think but they knew that people The bow was the go-to in the first game, and it was overpowered because everyone used it.
Even though you got it quite late in the first game, but it was.
They rectified that later on with the crossbow.
I rarely use the bow in this game.
I rarely use the bow in this game. I didn't use it nearly as much.
I used the bow to kill the dogs.
Ooh, savage.
We'll get onto that later.
Clean headshot. Yeah, onwards. So we'll it was painless for him, but you know.
Did anyone get spoiled before going into the game?
Me, by choice, because I read the leaks.
I didn't.
No.
I purposely avoided everything.
The only thing that I got was someone saying it was a golf game. Now I thought, this is fucking stupid. This is ridiculous. And then now obviously I've played it. That comes into play very early on. And I was just like, really? That's the way you're going to try and spoil me?
So hard.
But
the day that the leaks hit the internet and you guys are like, oh my god, the Platts leak, because I didn't care. I read them all. I read there was 3 major ones. I can't remember what the last one was, but I read Joel dies. You play the game. You play most of the game as this girl. So I thought, because I hadn't played the first one, didn't really know what was going on, I thought Ellie was going to become the bad guy of the game. She was going to be the main boss sort of thing. And you were going to play as this other character.
It's not that far off.
Yeah, the leaks weren't very accurate. The ones that I personally saw were not very...
Well, I've looked at what the leaks were before, afterwards, and there was leaks going around that Ellie died, and well, we know that didn't happen now. So some of the leaks weren't factual correct, they weren't factual correct at all. They just weren't, and people they put pieces together from what I could tell.
Yeah, from what I guessed. The thing is, I think they had 3 pieces of gameplay from various different parts of the game, and they just tried to guess by what they had, and it was. When
people started coming out and talking about the leaks and they're trying to fill in the gaps as to what happened before, you can't take any credence from it. No. And I feel like I just avoided as much as you feasibly can.
I actively avoided it
and just take it in the game, because if you try to explain The Last of Us 1 and what happens in The Last of Us 1 to somebody, they're going to go, well, that's dumb. That sounds stupid, because they haven't experienced what it's like to have the person
without the context. It's nothing.
It's context, everything.
Yeah,
everything.
100%. The context just makes everything in this game, and people might have seen spoilers that Joel died, but they don't know when, they don't know how, they don't know why.
Though, anyone that played the first game properly would have guessed that one of the only things that send Ellie batshit is Joel dying.
This is what I said to Kate beforehand. When she knew the spoilers at that point.
I don't know why people were surprised.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people were surprised at all.
I said to Kate, I was like, I have a feeling Joel's going to die, because it's the only way you can take the story.
I mean, maybe, Chris, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that, I think it was when they released the first teaser trailer for Last of Us 2, where Ellie's just singing that song in the bedroom with guitar.
Yeah.
She's walking the Valley of Evil or something.
I love that song. Great song.
But I immediately said, so Joel's dying then, yeah? Straight away.
Well, I remember everyone in the trailer, after seeing the trailers, they were like, so all the scenes with Joel is a ghost, or is just her vision, or something kind of like.
Yeah. What I thought was going to happen is I knew Joel was going to die. I didn't know because of the leaks. I knew because that's one of the only reasons Ellie would get to the point she is. But what I thought was going to happen is that she was going to have weird, hallucinations, basically, of Joel throughout the game, and that's what she was seeing. Obviously, that didn't happen.
No.
But that's what I thought that they were.
I'm glad that wouldn't have been as good storytelling wise. I don't feel like that fits in Naughty Dog game. Flashbacks, yes. Not seeing visions.
The flashbacks in this game destroyed me. I love the scene with the museum so much.
Yeah,
that's my favourite part of the game. It was so wholesome. It was too much.
I've never been so happy and heartbroken in a video game my whole life as when I was playing that particular part of the game.
Yeah. And it was even more special for me because he kept talking about Jurassic Park and the fact that it was a dinosaur museum, and I'm a big dinosaur fan.
He kept referencing Jurassic Park, but he never said the words Jurassic Park. He's like, but we know. We know.
Even changed the Jeff Goldblum line.
Yeah.
You put hats on all the dinosaurs.
I loved it.
Did anyone get a trophy for putting a hat on Joel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
No, I didn't get that.
that's a
That's,
trophy.
that's my
Jamie.
rarest achievement from the whole
That's-
game.
Jamie, that's worth playing the game again, to be honest. That's just got to go back.
I mean, Jamie, to be fair,
I can't
It's
yet.
worth-
It's too soon.
It is too soon.
yeah, you know what? After streaming it yesterday, yes, it is. Winding on back though, like, well, I kind of want to sort of go through the game as it happened, like try and keep some kind of
Go on.
structure going.
Continue.
So the general just prologue of the game, where we'll just get to the big thing, the death of Joel, because really before that, not that much happens. When you started playing as Abby, what was your first thoughts? Like, who the fuck's this bitch? Like,
Yeah, that one place in my thoughts. Like, who the fuck's this?
Well, I think that's the mentality you're meant to have, is who is this new character and what's going on, and you realise as they start talking, like, what they're leading towards and the reason that they're there. And when they're talking about him and he, there's only one person that can be talking about.
I was messaging Kate at that time, like, they're going after Joel. It's happening. And I was just like, throughout that whole prologue, I just had a sense of dread. I was like, something's going to go down real bad soon. And the fact that the way I went into it, I was like, I think Joel was going to die, but I didn't think he was going to die until the end. Like,
I thought he'd die a good third of the way in. I wasn't expecting first,
immediate,
like the beginning of the game.
I thought the revenge quest that Ellie was on was going to be like Dina died, and then she was on a revenge quest for that, and then Joel died at the end.
That was what they implied in some of the trailers.
Yeah, oh yeah, the trailers, they fucking did a fucking Avengers on us, where they fucking put like older Joel in some scenes when he was young, doing the flashbacks, and just putting him in completely different scenes where he wasn't even in. But they kind of did a good job with that before the leak.
Can I just say, the scene where they killed, well, when they first got Joel,
shot him in the leg.
That person was a RoboCop fan, I think, when they wrote that scene.
Yeah, I know.
Please explain the reference, I've never seen it.
I think the first thing that happens in RoboCop is the guy that becomes RoboCop gets his leg shot off by a shotgun.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
It's Manny, who shoots him as well. Didn't realise.
No, it's not Manny who shoots him, it's Abby.
It's Abby.
It's 100%
Abby has a shotgun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I thinking then? Yeah, I'm completely wrong then. Never mind. Never mind. And at the moment that I saw them shoot him in the leg, and then you see his leg being so mashed up, is always dead now, because he's not surviving that.
But like when they tied his leg up with a tourniquet, I always thought like
sutured him.
I just thought like, oh, maybe they're just going to drag it out a bit, and he's going to be a bit alive for a bit longer. Like they're going to save his life and then just torture him for a bit.
They wanted to stay alive for as. I think they probably would have. I think the plan was to torture him a bit more, but then Ellie showed up and ruined the situation.
That's the worst part. That is her coming down them stairs when she sees him. That is the worst part. It's so sad.
Thing is,
the whole thing is sad, but it's the fact that she gets there and he's still kind of alive. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
It would have been easier if she got there and he was already dead.
Worst bit, he sees her there, and he's like, he knows that like his whole thing has been protecting Ellie. He's fucking failed at his job there, really. In his mind, when he sees her there, because she's obviously in danger as well.
Mm.
It's just like that.
I mean, this is getting too emotional already, and we're only like however many 20 minutes in.
I think if they hadn't killed Joel so brutally, if they just shot him and left, I don't think Ellie would have tried to hunt them all down.
No, it's the fact that she has to see it. Like they literally force her to see it, basically, and it's brutal. It's so brutal. Like you get even when you get in there, it's just messed up.
So when you can hear him as you're going down the stairs, like when you get into the building and you can hear him, and it's like, oh, it's too much.
You know what's coming, and you almost don't want to go in, but you have to because you want to save him.
You got to try and save Joel.
Like,
you got to try and save Joel.
You just know it's not going to happen.
Not.
You know it's not going to happen.
And that's the worst part, because she gets there and like, if she was she would have handled it a bit differently if she was a bit smarter. Maybe she could have.
I don't know. She's
But
very
because she just
animated.
runs in, they all
If
just
she'd
tackle her to
lobbed
the
one of them
ground.
flashbangs she has in the room, stun them all, and then just fucking
but
knife them all
it's really
while
sad.
they're stunned,
That's the thing. Like with these characters, like they're all at the height of their emotion. Like that doesn't. You don't think
Yeah.
about shit like that, do you? When you're doing that, the thing is, I don't think she even knew anyone else was in the room. She went in there, saw Abby. Everyone else seemed to be like at the back of the room. You didn't really see anyone else.
Yeah, the back inside, yeah.
Abby was the whole point they were there. To be honest, they weren't there at the end of the day.
Mm.
They have no other reason of going other than Abby wanting them to, and then wanting to help Abby.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she was
they
probably
all have stakes in it
the-
anyway because they're fireflies. But yeah,
the first thing I thought when Abby killed Joel, and you find out that Abby killed Joel, but then she let Tommy and Eddie live, was I bet she has a really good reason for this. I bet she has a really good reason for this. And at that point, my mind had switched and thought I couldn't dislike her because she had to have had who goes across a whole country to find a single person to do this unless I have a damn good reason to do this.
The way I saw it is like, until I find out this reason, she's fucking dead.
I thought that she
I
knew.
never had that mentality.
I thought
did at
she
that
knew
point.
that Ellie was the cure,
No,
and they were going to take Ellie.
I found
That's
that
what I
weird
thought
because
it was
I
gonna
thought that
be.
was going to be the case, and then obviously when she saw her, and obviously you can tell, obviously at that point she doesn't know, like who she is.
She doesn't know. None of them know.
And it's like they didn't think, like they obviously know there's a girl with a cure. They didn't think maybe it could be this girl.
This guy who killed everyone to save this little girl. The reason that I'm here, this girl shows up to try and save him. Oh, it's too much. Too much
Not the
maths
smartest,
for them
are
all
they?
to handle.
No, but when you're that wound up,
Yeah, true.
and you don't know what's happened in the last. How long is it? Is it 4 years? 5 years?
4 years. I think she's
Four.
18, isn't she, Ellie? I think.
Is she
19.
14
She's
and then she's
19.
19? Isn't
Four.
she, Ellie?
She's 14 and a half, I think, in the
Yeah.
first
Something like
game.
I think she's 19 in this game. I think.
She's 19 this year.
Yeah.
What makes to make that whole like scene, well, just the whole thing, Joel dying even worse, is you go back and then you have to go in his house.
That is bit. That is horrible.
And you go in there and you see all his like wood carvings and his guitars he's made and his pictures of Sarah.
That was
and pictures of Ellie. And,
Yeah, he kept the picture somehow in better condition than what he got it in.
Well, yeah.
Last of Us 1.
Must have ironed it.
Apparently, he's done some Photoshop work on that.
But like,
It's possible Tommy had a picture of her and he gave it to him.
Maybe.
cancel Tommy. I hate Tommy. I've hated him since Last of Us 1.
Oh, yeah. I hate
I mean,
Tommy.
that
loved
that
me at the
was-
start.
I didn't mind him in the first game, but in this
Yeah.
one, yeah.
He's a
just
dick.
I don't like
really
his face.
See you next Tuesday.
I did like his face, especially later on. Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, well, to be fair, talking about Tommy, he was quite trying to do the right thing, I guess, at the start by trying to not tell her not to go, like, and just.
No.
I do feel like that was his wife speaking.
He would have
But, yeah.
known that was never gonna work.
No.
So
Yeah.
That's why he went himself. He went himself because he just.
In a way, he didn't want her to
and
do
he
it.
just couldn't live with that guilt. He just couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like they probably would have been better off if they went together. But, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
It would a lot better, to be fair, yeah.
But she obviously ends up going with Dina. Dina, who I love,
Yeah.
I think their relationship is great.
Dina's lovely. Dina is Ellie's conscience. Dina is the best part of Ellie.
Yeah, I think-
Dina is the genuine good guy of this like thing. Like there's two
I
characters.
wouldn't say
in
she's
mind.
good, but she's like the best of them.
She's the-
probably.
Yeah,
The best of
definitely,
us.
definitely.
The best of a bad bunch.
Yeah. Well, I do think that if she hadn't been forced to stay in the theatre and she'd actually been able to be out with Ellie,
Yeah, well,
Ellie wouldn't have gone quite so
Mm.
yeah,
deep end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
but babbies. But she went with her. I love their relationship. I love how it's like you can tell they've been very good friends for a very very long time, and it's kind of their whole like relationship grew out of that into something beautiful. In my opinion, like, I love their relationship. I think it's very natural, and you don't very much get that in video games, which is cool. And I kind of like their dynamic with Jesse because, like, obviously he's Dina's ex.
X.
But I kind of like it wasn't a love triangle or anything. Like, I liked that. I didn't think
No, yeah, it wasn't. When you saw him come back and into the city, and you see him there, you think, "Oh, something's going to happen here," but then Dina's not having any of it.
Yeah, you can just tell like he has respect for both of them. He's good friends with both of them. It's like,
Yeah,
it's fine. Which
He's
I
a
think
good
was
boy.
good.
Jesse
Yeah.
is a good boy.
I do like Jesse. I think Corey has issues with Jesse, but
That's how you respect.
I like Jesse. I think he was a good character. I mean, should we just talk about like Ellie's journey first, and then go on to?
yeah. There's a lot to go on here. So
Yeah.
we're talking about Ellie and the way that she dealt with everything. Is I feel like Ellie spends most of the game as the bad person. Ellie spends the most of the game as the negative force upon everything else. Everything that happened that's bad in that game is related to or a direct cause of Ellie, basically. And it's hard to not see that.
I see that now. When I
Yeah.
was doing it, I felt I was in the right.
Same. You get so mad and you're like, I'm
Because
gonna
I was
every
so
single
angry.
one of them.
When you're playing that character, there's no avoiding it. You want that.
Yeah.
You want that blood, and they've done
I
a
was
very
angry.
good job to make you feel
Like
how
the
Ellie
character.
feels.
Yeah, I think that's the brilliant thing about this game. You feel the emotion the character feels, and that's just
Yeah.
you very
But
rarely
when
get
you
that.
get it
and I
from
love it.
when you see it from an outside perspective, from outside of her little bubble, then you're like, damn, she's off.
She's made
the,
it way
off the
worse
end,
for
and then
herself.
furthermore than that, it's mad.
Yeah. Like when I was going through as Ellie, I was just like really angry. I just wanted to kill everyone. The one thing, I didn't kill any dogs up to a certain point where you had to kill a dog because I was just like, I'm not doing this. It's not their fault. They don't have a choice.
Killed all the dogs. Dogs had to die. They're coming from
Same.
there. And I feel like Ellie wouldn't give a shit.
No, she doesn't like dogs. She
See,
clearly
I
puts
said
it
this
across.
to Chris, like, she hasn't grown up in the world that we have. Like, we see a dog and we're like, oh, that's a puppy. Like, she hasn't had that.
No.
Like, she doesn't have that view. That's an enemy. That's not like, oh, that's my, that's my little good boy.
Exactly.
Dina
She's
does
looking at
because
it thinking,
Dina
that's a
had
vicious
cats.
animal out to kill me.
Yeah.
It was so brutal though, because I was hiding, and this lady come in with this dog, and she was like, "Oh, Bear, who's a good boy? You're a good boy." And he came around the corner and he saw me, and I had this big sledgehammer, and I hit the dog with a sledgehammer, and it was
Crushed it.
so brutal.
And it made the yelp
Like,
noise, and it was horrible.
so bad. I had to pause the game, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was so horrible." But like, I'm not good at the game, so everyone's got to die because I'm not good at it. So I like stealth kill everyone, but that was
That's how
probably
you're
the
supposed to
worst.
play the game.
That was the worst kill in the
As
game
much as
for me
possible.
personally.
Well,
that was
Bear.
really bad.
What did you think about having the characters, well, the random, like, the NPCs you're fighting, them having names, like, that they call out to each other when they die and stuff? Did it
Didn't
not work
change
on you?
anything. Didn't change anything.
No.
I didn't feel bad for a single person. The randos are just randos that made a difference to me. After I heard the fourth person called Travis, I was done. I was like,
Is that guy from
I very
Division
rarely
Chris?
got repetitions. Alex.
What's
So-
that guy in Division that they're like,
Alex,
oh my god,
yeah.
they killed Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, they killed Alex. And then like 5 seconds down the line, it's like, oh my god.
I
they
think
killed Alex.
it's a very good like tool they've used because it helps with like being immersed in that world. Because like it's better than there's a body. Look around for a bit and then go back to the
obviously.
patrols. Like you feel like that. Yeah, they do genuinely care about their friend who's just had their leg blown off or head blown off. But you know what I mean? Like I think that's cool, especially when the dogs died. And that woman was not very happy about Bear when you killed her, Kate.
She joined him very shortly after.
She did. Yeah, she didn't get much time to mourn.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, lady, and I'm sorry, Bear, but I'm not good at the game, so everyone's got to die.
With Ellie's story, what do you think of the open worldish kind of area at the start?
I thought that was going to be what the rest of the game was going to be like.
Yeah,
I thought you'd go this, you'd do this zone, and you'd move on to the next zone and do that zone. And honestly, I think I would have preferred that sort of gameplay.
Really?
Than what we actually. The issue is after that, they give you a taste of it. And it's like this is how it could work now. And guess what? You're never going to get that again.
And then your horse gets killed by a mine.
F for
Game
Shima,
over.
also. They have
Shima's dead at
animal
that point.
cruelty
So I
in
was
this
like,
game.
why introduce us to this mechanic and show us how all this works, how to go here and do this and mark places on the map to never use it again?
It's so you can get that bearing on the city, so that when you're listening on the radio and they're like, "Oh, we're over here," it's so like they can look at the map and go, "Oh, well, we were here, so this is here."
Yeah.
But when
It's
you
so
get
that
out-
it's so that they
when you
don't
get
have that
outside that
instant.
area, when you get outside that area, it's never used again. It's really just a straight line then at that point. Yeah, obviously you can have branching ways to go through that straight line,
Yeah.
but it does at no point does it even approach getting as open as what that part was.
I did
And
feel.
you can see where they took they took parts from Lost World. Was it Lost World?
Uncharted Lost Legacy. Yeah, it's very much
Lost
like that.
Legacy.
Because you have a map.
And it's very much like that. Where it's got the open world map and you go and do things in order you want to do them, and then after that they're just.
I feel like it worked for that part of the game because you had the horse.
Yeah.
Didn't have the horse later. Would have been very tedious walking around. I know Kate walked around because she didn't go on the horse, but that it would have been, in my opinion, tedious.
Well, the obvious thing to do then is don't kill the horse, and you have. But if they had plans of keeping that on later on, you would have had a horse.
They could have possibly done that with the boat area. In my opinion, like,
maybe that would be a good way to do that. That boat area was pretty cool.
Yeah, but with that just general open area, like there's stuff you can miss in that area that I like.
There is,
I didn't miss in that area.
I didn't.
I went around everything.
One of my favourite moments from that whole area is when they go into the music store and they get the guitar and that rendition of.
You don't expect it.
Take on me.
I thought it was a bit weird picking up a guitar and then playing it right, and that was literally right next to the base what I thought was full of bad people. So this is a bit weird.
Bring this up. But that song, like I wanted to play more. I just wanted to sit there and listen. I really enjoyed it.
I played around with that guitar for a good long time. I did, to be fair.
Yeah, have you seen the shit
I
people doing in that?
No, I didn't play I did try and play, see if anything made sense in my head there, but I couldn't. It's not quite accurate enough to get where I wanted to. When I played that, I really enjoyed that sort of gameplay. That open wide gameplay, and I felt a hunger for it then, and it just never came back. I was a bit upset, but never mind.
With the guitar thing though, someone's done Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force on the controller, and that's fucking crazy.
How?
Their hand just it's like ridiculous. Like it's hard to play on a guitar genuinely, but like. Oh, man, I'll send you the video later. It's mental.
Everyone's missing out on the meme. They could play Jesse's girl.
She's not Jesse's girl though.
The song is about being in love with Jesse's girl.
Oh,
true.
I'm just not good. I'm not good at the guitar mechanics, and someone out there needs to make the meme. Someone needs to do it.
I'll do
Ellie's not good at them anymore either.
F.
F in the chat.
But I did like that open area. It kind of slowed the pace down. There was a lot of like important conversations that happened between her and Dina. You get to know Dina a lot in that section. Like, obviously, when you go into the synagogue, is that what it is?
Yeah. And you learn that
she's Jewish.
She's Jewish.
Yeah.
And you get all of the family and everything like that.
Yeah,
and it's cool. When you saw the big scroll in the synagogue, I was like, "Wow!" I thought she was going to take it. But like, I'm going to take it back home.
Yeah, I thought she was going to take it, but no. But like, that's cool.
You said in that part, in the open world part, you didn't see everything. What did you see?
I saw everything, but I just know that you can miss stuff. Like that whole Take On Me guitar section, you can miss completely.
Mad, isn't it?
And I know of people who have.
Imagine completing the game and being satisfied, and then going on YouTube and finding that you're like, what?
Because that was one of the very few like happy-ish moments in the game. Like feel like you want as many of them as you can.
I feel like it is missable, but I feel like the game works in a very particular way to make sure you don't miss those sorts of things.
100%.
You don't realise that you're getting led to this point, and you'll realise that when you find out that there's about 4 ways into that building that are completely separate from one another. They really want you to get into that building and do that section.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't look like that when you just approach it.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's really good game design. Really good game design.
Yeah, and I never felt lost, which is good. That's good game design as well, because obviously they point you in the right direction with subtle things like light and just the world. Like it pulls you into certain areas that look interesting, and then it turns out there's something there, which is cool.
Yeah, like the tutorial areas where you could use the fire hose off of the fire engine to go down and then swing to that platform and get the stuff that's on that platform. It's just teaching you for stuff later on in the game. It's cool.
Yeah.
There are lots of hidden areas you have to do that with. to get to. I don't remember having to smash windows to get into places on the first game.
No, that's a new mechanic.
I love that.
Kate completely
the
love that.
first time I opened the door and it's locked from the other side, and I saw this giant window and I was like, this is stupid. Why don't you just smash the window? And I threw the bottle at the window just like in protest, and the window smashed, and I was like, this is like the end of the gen. Like, we're finally getting basic like common sense in a game. I loved it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Most games, that wouldn't work.
No, most games you wouldn't be able to smash the window. You'd have to go all the way around.
It's usually games that have proper stealth mechanics that have that, like split to cell or things like that.
That's the thing with this game. It's the
Dishonored.
It's the attention to detail with the simplest of things, but it just adds up and makes a really, really like fun experience.
Yeah, but they could have spent like 6 months less on the game, but it is the tiny stuff that actually stand out.
Yeah, 100%. Like the rope mechanics. Fucking love the rope mechanics. Like what you would think to do with that rope.
The rope mechanics in that game are some of the best I've seen in anything. That's incredible how well they got that
like
to work.
The bit where you had to plug in the power cord over the fence. Kate was trying to drag it round, and I was like, just do what you'd normally do.
I think this mechanic to me, I'm so broken as a gamer because I was like, obviously, like that's the first thing you think to do, but you just think, no, the game's not like the game's not going to be that smart. Like the game's not going to let you do that, and then when you do it and it works, you're like, what? The game is that smart?
We come from a weird position because some people who are less experienced with games, would probably get to that solution quicker than we would.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to mechanics and how things work in other games that we think, oh, they wouldn't be doing that. It's not
exactly.
And then it is, you're like, yo. And you get an extra appreciation for it.
Mm.
The bit with moving ladders, there was a thing where I had to put a ladder down and I had to get across another thing. And I'm there looking for this other thing. And then I'm like, hang on, maybe I can just pick, and I could pick the ladder up behind me. And I was like, you know what? Any other game, I wouldn't have been able to use that ladder again.
I'd actually forgotten that was a thing from the first game. So that bit when you had to do that, I was looking around for ages trying to figure out what to do.
Jamie, exactly the same thing happened to me. I think it was right after you picked up some arrows for the bow and you're going across rooftops. And I tried to do it, and I got stuck at a point for about 5 minutes. I thought, oh shit, I can use this shit twice. What?
Yeah, I think. Actually, no. I think the first time you see that is when you're playing as Abby.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, no, with the ladders.
Like
with the ladders
inside
the boat.
Yeah. I think it was a boat inside the
little hangar.
It's when you're with Mel and you got to get her across because obviously she's heavily pregnant and she can't climb.
Yeah.
And I was like,
although she climbed pretty well at that bit anyway.
Yeah, leaning on her belly, which has annoyed me. But hey,
concerning.
Yeah.
So let's go on a triangle head.
After that, obviously, Shimmer dies, gets popped in the head as well, which just to make in front of you, which makes it worse if you're an animal lover. And then obviously they find the people that Tommy killed and used the same tactic that Joel used, and that's how she knows like Tommy did this. She was like, "This is a Tommy move."
That's cool. That's cool. The thing is as well from the you wouldn't know that unless you played the first game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you watch the cutscene movie on YouTube, like.
Imagine going to this game without touching the first game. Imagine that.
I mean, to be fair, Kate played some of it.
You miss out on. It's mental.
I don't think you can play this without having played the first. Not really. You can't appreciate this game properly.
You wouldn't be emotionally invested.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you kind of get like the little intro about what happened at the end, at the start of this one. But like,
you do, but that doesn't get you 10% of the investment.
Doesn't give you the attachment that they had. Doesn't show you that, and I feel like that's important to obviously have coming into this. After that, what was the next section? It was just like
Shima dies and Ellie and Dina get separated, and Dina ends up saving Ellie, shooting the guy through the roof. That's the first of the people that died.
Yeah.
One of the ones that killed Joel.
And then Ellie saves Dina by managing to cut herself out of the ropes with a piece of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think she then shanks the guy with the glass as well.
Yeah, she does. It was the guy who she already cut his face beforehand. But
yeah, she finished the job.
Pretty much. But then after that, they go to the TV station, find out like everyone's already been attacked by some other faction called the Scars.
Seraphites.
But the Seraphites later, you find that out. But yeah,
the Scars came into that game a lot later than I thought they would.
I don't like this whole thing.
Ellie only has to deal with them once, doesn't she?
I think
In
she
one
goes
area,
once.
and
and it's
it.
one of the most terrifying areas in the game, Jamie. When the arrow just goes into you, let's get that
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
out
yeah.
of there.
That does scare the shit out of you on that.
And the
It's just not
they're
expecting it.
genuinely scary, like bad guys, because like you can't tell what they're saying. It's just whistles, and you're just like, I don't know what this whistle means. Like, at least, especially at first, you don't know what half the fucking whistles mean.
I feel like they were dealt with a lot better in Ellie's sequence than they were in Abby's. In Ellie's sequence, there was so much more mystery and some
They were
around
scarier.
them and everything. Whereas in Abby's, they were just the generic enemy.
I think they're very. I felt like they were very throwaway sort of thing, because it's like you find all these clues in Ellie's and you're seeing all the graffiti and you're kind of learning about them. And then I thought, like when you get to Abby, you'll get a bit more. And it's kind of like, so there's a cult now. yeah, there's a cult, and that's it. It's like, but I want to know, I want to know more. I want to know how they started up, and
I do feel
I
you
felt
get.
they weren't
I felt like you learned a lot about them.
explained very well. No,
You get a lot of it in the letters, which is like.
I
Last of
read,
Us
no, I
does
read
all
the
time.
letters, but I just think it's very like they're like, oh, so we worship this lady who's a prophet.
Who's dead?
It's like, where did she come from? What did she believe in? Like, why do they do this and why do they do that? And
It does tell you a lot of that. It does tell you a lot of
yeah,
that. So
like they
it tells
touch
you
on
that she was
it.
a lady. Yeah, they told you that she was a lady that had a mental illness and that she thought, seeing everything going on, that she started basically rambling and people started believing her rambles. And that actually what she believed in and what she was preaching ended up being the opposite of what ended up happening with the Seraphites.
Well,
She preached a lot of peace and pacifism, where then they took it and twisted it to their own
the
way.
whole religion started from the fact that like they were saying they were being punished for relying on technology too much.
Yeah.
And that's what how the whole zombie outbreak happened,
But then,
like, because of that.
But then a lot of them took that and twisted it to their own.
But like I think that shows.
benefit.
I think that's obviously a statement on just what can happen in religion. Like that has happened in the past and still happens
Definitely.
to this day. In some, it's that was a good example of that, and I think they showed that well, especially when you get to meet Lev later. But we'll get on to that.
And
later.
Lev explains a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of that exposition about that in terms of like when you're going up to the sky bridges.
Yeah.
Great part of the game.
I guess I just wanted
real-
more. I guess I just wanted
real
more.
MVP of the game.
But we'll get onto that in a bit. Talking about certain enemies though, the ones I fucking hated, the fucking stalkers. Fuck those guys.
Yes.
Fuck those
I
guys.
think that's on purpose though. Like they're a cool enemy. You know who they reminded me of a lot?
Yeah, they're the ones
and I
you
don't-
can't sneak up on.
You
So-
can't sneak on. They remind me a lot of those particular enemies from Dead Space 2 and 3. Jeremy, I don't know if you remember the ones.
Oh
That's sitting
yeah.
up behind crates and then sprinting. They're basically mechanically identical.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw these, I thought I can see where they're going with this.
But I think those areas with them was one of the few places where I actually used the shotgun.
Yeah.
I just crouched
Oh,
and
no,
walked
you
around with a
Throw
shotgun.
bottles.
Yeah.
That was one of the few times I actually threw the bottles and bricks at enemies to stun them.
Not gonna lie, I completely forgot about that mechanic throughout the whole game. I was just
I
like,
used that a lot more.
That
in this
made the
game than I
game
did in last
harder.
game.
I made the game harder because you forgot about that, Chris.
literally, I was like, oh yeah, I can use bottles to hit them as well.
I never used the stun grenades or the flash grenades.
I
just
didn't
never used
even-
them.
all
I never
mine-
used them in the first game or this
Didn't
game.
use them, yeah.
Although, have you seen some of the carnage you can do with the fucking like nail bombs and stuff? Ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that thing. I use that a few times. I use that on the boomers, and I use that on the the big ones that like squirt all the shit everywhere. They were great because if you used a bottle to get a bunch of clickers and those big hulking ones into the same spot and throw one out, game over.
The only explosive stuff I used was Molotovs.
Same.
Molotovs are good.
Even then, I only used the Molotovs a couple of times.
You know what's great about-
I always
used
forgot
it
I
a
had
bit.
them. To be honest,
Yeah.
and I was just
Do
like,
you know what the
I
best
killed
bit of the
everything, and I was
Molotovs
like,
is?
oh, I had a Molotov.
It attracts
And I
them.
don't know why it works like this. It's not with people. With you throw a bottle, throw a Molotov, but for whatever reason, the Molotov didn't alert the other people around. I don't know why that was. But it counted as a stealth mechanic.
with infected, what I love is
exactly. I don't know.
you throw the Molotov.
As soon as I realised that, I was like, YOLO!
It was that special cola bottle that you use as a silencer as well. Those bottles are obviously like engineered to be silent.
Won't work in real life, not properly anyway. You have to
that
have
was
a
the
massive bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All it do in real life is direct the sound in one direction rather than going everywhere.
That special cola.
But the best bit about the Molotovs was just when you're against infected, you throw them, they all just head to the fire and just get set on
sound,
fire.
yeah.
It's great.
But they did change the mechanic in this game where if somebody runs into the fire, then they're automatically dead in the first game. In this game, they will just set a certain part of them on fire. They're more than likely, unless you've hit them directly with the Molotov, more than likely they'll survive.
It damages them. It helps. But
Yeah.
But it panics them so you can kind of like take them out. They escaped. They got to the theatre. But this is after Dina officially finds out that Ellie is immune, even though she's told her earlier in the game during the whole
She basically did believe her, yeah.
during the whole weed sequence.
Yeah.
But
and they got Frisco.
They found it. Also, just a quick shout out to the did anyone find the porn videos in the weed sequence?
Oh yeah.
Smash Bandy's cooch. Like that's a Crash Bandicoot reference. But but obviously they have to fight through spores and everything, and I really like the mechanic where you can use the infected against the enemies, which I think is really cool.
Again, I don't think that was used as much as it could have been throughout the game.
I feel like if
the very end, but other than that, you don't use it.
You use it in the well, you can use it when you're going after Nora as well. When they come down after you, you can use it and just send infected and just run through the chaos.
You can just hide and let them kill all the.
I just put the infected on them and then just ran through the chaos to the door. I did that.
I killed everyone in that area, but okay.
So did I. Yeah, I didn't have anyone left, to be honest.
I didn't want Nora to escape, but
Stealth
we'll
killed
get
everyone
to that.
in that bit. Well, that's the point. She can't escape when she fell down there.
Yeah, no, that's true.
She's infected, isn't she? Then. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Anyway, we keep skipping.
You get the revelation that she's pregnant. Is that when that happens?
That's
yes. I think you learn that.
You learn that as soon as you get to the theatre.
Yeah.
Because she's been sick and she looks really like pale and stuff.
And that's when you have the best part of the game, in my opinion, the flashback that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That I didn't want that section to end.
Me either. It was so wholesome. I loved it.
That was the best section in the game. I was just like, I just want to hang out with Joel more because we're never going to get to do that again.
yeah. That was basically a flashback to the first game.
Yeah.
Some sections in the first game, except you're just controlling Ellie instead of Joel. That's all he is.
And obviously he's taught her to swim, and it's just like, oh man.
Because I was like, he's like, come on, let's go, and I was like, oh yeah, but I can't go over there because I can't swim. And then when he pushed me, and I was so offended, I was like, but I can't swim.
Clearly,
it's so wholesome.
Obviously, she's been taught by that point.
They did that on purpose. That bit. Just because they knew everyone would have a heart attack.
Yeah, and obviously everyone climbed on top of the dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then you dive off it.
See, I know people who didn't. Yeah. You don't have to do that. I know people who didn't.
Of course you got it too. Like you see it, it's like highlighted. It's like, of course you got to do it.
And Joel's like, "What are you doing?"
It's like,
what are you doing?
You're gonna fall. But and then obviously you go in the dinosaur place, and that's just I love that.
Wholesome.
That's apparently a replica of like the actual where you go, like the interior of the museum, which is so cool.
Yeah,
it's educational and wholesome.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
But and then obviously the space section, which is just really sad but lovely at the same time, where she's just spouting all this like random crap that she knows about space because she loves space.
Yeah, Joel's like, what?
Yeah, I love that. And then obviously the going inside the little capsule and him giving her the tape, which is so well done with all the lights like coming off her.
And they're both smiling, and you're like this never happens. This never happens.
Yeah, I wish this just could carried on forever.
And she's got the helmet on and all that. It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note: Did anyone else spot the book on Joel's bedside table, like Space for Dummies, because he's trying to learn about space for Ellie?
Yeah. Oh, I did not
No,
see
I didn't
that,
see
no.
that. No.
Yeah.
I didn't see it the first time. When we were streaming it last night, I saw it and I started like tearing up. I was like, oh,
So
he was
sad.
trying to learn about space for Ellie. But yeah, then obviously she comes out of the flashback.
You then go to some outskirts place because you hear on the radio that they're chasing another trespasser.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is the section where you're going after to find out who you think it's Tommy. You're going after him. There's a lot of dogs in the way, which upset me. But I managed to run through the whole section without killing the dogs, which is good. And then obviously you jump down, and then Jesse puts his hand over your mouth and grabs her.
Yeah.
In the trailer, that's Joel.
Joel. Yeah,
And I was like,
they found that for Joel.
As soon as that came up, I was like, is this Tommy? Like, I thought it was Tommy at first, but obviously it ended up being Jesse. And then you have to fight out. There's a cool car sequence, which I liked. That was very intense.
That was really cool, actually. That car sequence was really good.
Yeah, like when the clicker ends up in the windscreen,
Yeah.
you're like, shit. But then you end up in the water, and then you just make your way back to the theatre. Is this where Dina's sick now? Like, properly sick?
I don't think she's that sick yet, because she's still sick. She meets Jess.
Oh yeah,
Jesse,
she sees to
Jesse.
him, and you can tell that Ellie's like feels proper awkward at this point
Yeah.
because she's like,
She's getting jealous. Ellie's getting jealous.
They obviously get on well together because they used to date, and it's just like she's like sitting there like.
And she has just found out Dina's pregnant with Jesse's kid.
It's like that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
She's
lot
a bit
to take
worried
in.
at that point that,
Yeah.
She's going to leave with him, basically, yeah.
It's understandable
100%.
worry at that point. I mean,
100%.
then Ellie goes to the hospital, I think.
You take everyone out. Get
Well,
through.
yeah.
Crawl in some vents to find Nora. This is the bit from the state of play that they showed a couple of months before the game came out.
The PS Vita.
The PS Vita, which you can't shoot, can't break it. Like
You try it. I
tried it.
because I didn't want to alert anyone.
I tried it, and I've seen a podcast about it where they said it took them ages to get the Vita into the game, but the one thing that was the stipulation of having it in the game, they couldn't break the screen.
Couldn't destroy it. Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. But yeah, obviously you get to Nora, and then there's like a really cool chase scene. I like that scene. I thought that was really cool. Like it was just really intense, and obviously people are shooting at you and stuff, but you don't give a shit. You just carry on running. And I really liked just chasing her down. But when you caught her, this was the section where I was just like, "You're gonna make me do this." And obviously when Square comes up to beat her, I didn't want to do it. I hesitated a bit.
To see if the game would do it itself.
Yeah. I waited to see if it would happen automatically, or it should just leave her because she's dead either way.
She's
At that
dead.
point, she's dead either way.
And
This
you're
is a call out post on me because as soon as Square popped up, I didn't even hesitate. It was that bit, because like when you go up to her and she's like, do you still hear him screaming? And you're going to be like, oh, this has messed her up too. And she's like, yeah, good. And the minute she said that, I was like, Kill Bill sirens went off in my head. And as soon as Square come up, I was like, you know what?
I honestly felt like I was going to let her live. And then she said that, and I was like,
Yeah.
not anymore, bitch.
That's what
Not
I
anymore.
Chris was watching me, and as soon as it come up and he pressed it, he was like, wow, that was
didn't even
zero
hesitate.
hesitation.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think a lot of the time, for the people that Ellie kills in this, she would have left some of them alive if they'd given her the chance to do so.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of times in this game where I'm just like, no, Ellie, what are you doing?
So like Mal, if she'd known Mal was pregnant, I think she'd have tried.
Oh yeah, clearly if she knew.
Definitely.
Yeah. But Mel did try and super hard kill her.
Yeah,
Like,
she
there
did
was
come out
no
with a
denying
knife.
that. She had to defend herself.
But that's more because Ellie gave her the chance to. So
Yeah.
No,
that
definitely.
was
But
kind of
after
why
she
I
shot
that
herself
bit.
in the-
the bit with Nora where I was just like, this was the point of the game where I was like, I'm not agreeing necessarily with what Ellie's doing here. Like, she shouldn't. I was like, just don't do it. You
Yeah.
don't need to do it. But she does it, and obviously that's a clear choice by Naughty Dog to have. Obviously, it's in your hands, but not in your hands, if you know what I mean. Like, you're pressing the button, but you don't have a choice.
They're trying to make you feel the weight of the decision.
Yeah, and it's heavy. You do feel it.
Yeah.
You're just like, shit.
do.
son.
It's different between like an RPG and a single player game is you're playing a character in this, and you're doing what the character would do. There's no choice in the matter. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah,
and it's not reading a book. You don't get to decide how the story goes.
Yeah,
it's going to happen how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that they're very aware of that. And just because that's the way it goes, you can and you just got to try and get into the mindset of Ellie and why she's trying to do what she's doing.
I feel like at that point, I kind of
you don't have to agree to it.
Yeah.
But you can understand what she's doing.
I understand why she's doing it, and like, if I was in her position, I'd probably do the same thing. But like, you're just looking at it, you're just like, you're going down a path that it's just you're not gonna be able to come out the other side any better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was just devastated at that point. I was just like, no, don't do this.
One thing I will say is that other than Nora, Ellie never went to the depths of extreme beating someone slowly to death that Abby did.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like when she gets back to the theater, she's physically shaking. Like that her beating Nora has affected her mentally.
She didn't take it easy.
No.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
She was like broken in that sense as a person at that point.
And Ellie had a pretty violent reaction to finding out she killed a pregnant woman.
Yeah, which we'll get to
later on. We'll get to that.
That was that point.
Whereas,
we'll get to that.
Whereas Abby didn't give a shit. She was about to slit.
Agreed.
Yeah, but
Tina's throat.
We'll get to that. Put a pin in that.
We'll get to that because I feel like Abby got a lot.
I have a lot to say about that.
What Ellie got it in the end.
But yeah, after that, after she goes back to the theatre, and Dina looks after her, which she's needed at that point. So after that, she goes to the aquarium. They decide to leave Dina in the theatre because she's sick.
Yeah, because she's too ill.
Which is weird because they just leave her on her own. And I'm just like, I feel like someone should stay with her. Like Jesse should have really stayed. He went with her.
She goes with Jesse to the marina, and then Jesse cuts off.
Yeah, he cuts off
because they're fine about
Tommy.
Yeah,
that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to go and get Tommy,
yeah.
But Ellie just can't do it. She has to go to the marina.
Yeah,
because that's where she thinks Abby's.
So obviously, Jesse goes off to find Tommy, and that's when they split up.
She wasn't wrong. She was just wrong by a few hours.
Yeah, because then Abby's left.
Should have waited. Should have waited there. But then obviously we had the whole boat section. What did you think of the boat stuff? Did you enjoy it?
The boat, the boat was fine. Getting around.
That bit wasn't that long though. To be fair,
it wasn't that. Did you hit all the extra areas in that? Well, there's two different boat bits, isn't there?
I think I did.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure I hit all the extra bits there. I was purposely going the way that wasn't the bright way to try and find everything.
Yeah.
But
interesting that the boat can go over barbed wire.
Did you guys? Which boat section is this? Is this where you?
There's more than one.
Also see the. Oh no, just for Ellie, there is the one, isn't there?
Yeah, because then obviously you get to the arcade bit,
super confused,
and then they fight the big giant fat.
And then you fight the it's not called Boomer. What is it again?
It's a Boomer, right?
Oh. No, Boomer's from
Belcher.
Is it Boomer?
Boomer. It's a Boomer because Belcher's the one.
Boomer. It is Boomer. It is Boomer.
Bloater. It's Bloater.
Bloater. I think it's not Boomer because Boomer's Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
It's Belcher. It's that. Yeah.
Obviously, they get to the aquarium. I did like the bit in the boat before that when you come out, you fall out the boat. The boat just capsizes and you're in the water, just like swimming towards the aquarium. That was a really intense bit, and like obviously showing that she's got the drive to get there, like no matter what. Like she's getting battered by the waves. Is that the part where you fight a bunch more of the what they call the religious people? Yeah, that's you fight them beforehand. Did you get to the sniper's nest and take them out with the sniper rifle? I can't.
I'd already killed them all before I went to the sniper's nest.
See, I found it and managed to mark them all with the sniper ammo and everything from that sniper's nest. It was great.
I think you got a sniper rifle.
I killed them all with the rifle.
It was a normal rifle.
And I then just picked up all the ammo and replenished it all from up there.
Oh, you just got better ammo.
Did you get to the nest, the sniper nest? I
don't even remember.
So when you get to that bit where the scars are, there's a crashed train in that area.
Oh yeah.
And if you climb your way up into the train, you find a sniper's nest left by one of the wolves, stating, "Here's my gun. Here's your ammo. Use it to kill these bastards," or something like that. And you just stay there and just absolutely go to town on all the scars. After you've let the scars and the wolves fight it out on the bottom.
I kind of felt like at that point I didn't really want to kill the scars because I didn't feel like it was Ellie's fight. Like I don't think she would have cared much. Like they're not her enemy at that point, really.
Well, actually, they are because they put an arrow to her shoulder for no reason.
Yeah, but like she's not out for blood for them, whereas she is for the wolves. You know what I mean? Like in that when
she's
they
not
were fighting,
for the wolves. She's not blood for very particular people in the wolves.
I feel like she got more beef with the wolves because like when they were fighting at one point, the Seraphites and the wolves, and you're just in the area. I killed the wolves and just left the Seraphites alive and just carried on because I felt like I don't know these guys' business at the moment. They,
Well, to be honest,
they could be good for all we know.
The game has no good guys, so I didn't really feel bad killing anyone in the game.
But I mean, well.
I did feel bad about killing the wolves later on when you actually get into them, you realise what they're doing and stuff like that. I felt less bad for killing the Seraphites.
At that point, though, as Ellie, we didn't know the Seraphites' deal, so I was just like, I could just be killing people defending themselves at this point.
At that point in the game, they just looked like an evil death cult.
And I didn't see them like that. I saw them as religious people being attacked by the wolves.
No, I just saw the sort of stuff that they were doing. The sort of stuff that they were doing, like when they were cutting open
fair enough.
And stuff like that was pretty evil looking stuff.
True.
So that's why I had no beef taking them out.
I was like, it's not my business, so I'm gonna fucking go through. But obviously when
you do all that and you go through to the marina,
you get to the aquarium. Just a cool place. Like going through there. I think it's interesting that how like when you get into one of the rooms, like obviously like there's like an operating table with blood all over it and stuff and bandages, and you just like
you don't see that for ages.
I wonder what that is, and then obviously that comes into play later. But obviously you hear people arguing, so you go in. Oh, is this before? No, you kill the dog. You kill Alice.
This week, Alice.
The dog first, which I, as someone who got through the whole game without killing any dogs, and like because you got that choice. This one, you didn't get a choice. I hated it. I let myself die the first time. I let myself die the first time because I wasn't ready for it. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to kill a dog for no reason. But
it's not no reason. Let's be honest.
No, I know. But like, I felt bad, and then obviously I killed it the second time. But I just like I wasn't ready for it because I was like I got through the whole game without killing a dog because I just didn't want to, and obviously I had to do it. I was like, this is devastating. But obviously then you go through into the room with Owen and Mel, and they. I feel like at this point, Owen's trying to calm you down and kind of like he's saying like this doesn't need to be this way. And obviously you don't know at that point why he's saying that and like what.
I think he had a pretty good chance of calming her down at that point, and it seemed to be working. And then he tried to kill her. It's like, whoa, bro! You just flipped on this. Look,
but to be fair, at that point, the only reason he quick reacted like that is because she pointed the gun at Mel, and obviously he's defending his baby there. So I think that's why he reacted like that. But
he gives a shit about this baby. This is news to me.
I think.
Yeah, to be honest, I never got the impression he cared much.
I think he does. I think he's just a very conflicted guy. But we'll get on to him later. But obviously, then that all goes to shit. And Owen gets shot, and there's a scuffle with Mel. You as a player at this point know she's pregnant.
You don't know. But Ellie don't.
Ellie doesn't know. She hides it well with that big coat Mel does.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know what? You don't have any control over this. You're not the one person square when she does it. I don't think. And obviously,
to begin with, you are.
Yeah, to begin with, but not at the actual stabbing.
She stabs her.
And they, obviously, I feel like they did that on purpose because, like, obviously, they know you're not necessarily going to want to stab a pregnant woman, and I think like just having to watch that happen with having no control over what happens is just like devastating. That got me. I had to stop playing after that happened because it was just I was like, oh, fuck, that's bad, man. Just stab the
well, you can see how affected Eddie was by it as well in the same manner. Like she was chucking up. It was horrific.
Yeah, she was that was such a powerful scene.
Especially now that she's got so much more attachment to that sort of thing. Finding out that Dina's pregnant.
What they do with sound in those scenes where it's just like it drowns out everything other than like what Ellie would. Ellie's just like drowned out everything in her own, like what she's hearing at that point, and it does that for the player as well. And it's just like, because they did it at the start with when Joel's, you can't hear what people are saying because all you can hear is like Ellie's just not with it. You know what I mean? And they just kind of like, I can't even know how to describe the sound they do, but they do something so it's just like
shell shocked.
It's like a muffle.
Yeah,
everything's muffled,
and it's just
isn't
like that's just powerful the way that's done. You can tell that's really affected her, and like it's at that point she's kind of realizing like shit.
Maybe
what am I doing? Yeah, and I had stopped playing for a bit. I stopped for a day at that point, and then went back to it because I was just like, this is like brutal, and like I knew it was going to be brutal, but I was just like, this is rough. I came back from work that day and I was like, I don't think I want to play anymore today because it's just going to get worse. But I went back to it the next day. But obviously Tommy and Jesse come in at that point and grab her.
That's when they're short. Yeah.
Yeah, and they go back to the theatre. And this is kind of like the end of Eddie's section. Well, first section. But obviously they're having this conversation in the theatre, and obviously Ellie has realised how far she's gone, and like she's got to protect Dina at this point. She cares. That's what she cares about.
They're all preparing to go home.
At this point,
we're all preparing to leave.
Ellie has made peace with the fact that she's not going to be able to kill Abby, and they're going to leave in the morning, aren't they?
Well, yeah. Tommy's even like she gets to live. Is that okay? And then Ellie's just like, it has to be. Like, because she's obviously seeing there at that point, like she's got to look after Dina, she's got friends, she's got family to like go back to. She has to step up and kind of try and let this go. Yeah. You can clearly tell when she says it has to be. She hasn't let it go by that point, but she's willing.
But she's willing to try.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is a very strong theme in this game, being willing to try. But obviously then. Tommy's going. He goes out of the room to the front of the theatre with his little gold necklace. He's going to give Maria to apologise. I like that scene. That was really funny. Obviously, Ellie and Jesse having a little conversation. He's always like, I always want to help my friends, and I'm like sitting there like, oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. I like Jesse. I want to see more of Jesse. And then
I get shot in the face.
Yeah,
they get shot in the face. I had no problem with Jesse. It came out of nowhere.
That was oh shit. Yeah, that was just oh shit moment.
They don't even give you time.
I initially thought it was a shoulder shot, and I thought it'd be like he's
and then you see his head,
and then he turns to him. So, oh no, he's 100% confirmed dead now. Yeah. There's no way.
There's a hole in his face. Oh shit.
So Abby's like Tommy hostage. She shoots Jesse as you're walking, and it's just like you don't get any time to mourn that.
To think.
That's just happen, gone, and move on.
Morning, I'm not gonna lie.
I know you didn't like him, did you?
I had no problem with Jesse as a character. I had a problem with the way he was portrayed and by his voice actor. I don't think.
I thought his voice acting was fine. Like,
no, I don't think. I think it was very wooden. And if you go back and look at some of the stuff he says, it's not performed very well.
Because I knew you hated him. Because I knew you hated him. I was really suspicious of him. I was like, is he like a double agent? Is he like? I was really suspicious of him as a character, and then when he died, I was like, oh, I guess not. I guess Corey just hates
Kate Slayer's sitting there like, no one's this nice. No one's this nice.
It just didn't like the way he was portrayed. I just didn't like. His voice acting was the worst in the game by far.
No.
Okay.
And that just took me out of the character. I feel like if he was just better acted, I would have liked him a lot more. But every time we talked, I was just like, bro, get somebody else to do this.
I thought he was fine.
That's really harsh.
Maybe he just looked bad in comparison to all the rest of the amazing actors.
When you put them next to people like like Ellie and Joel and how pristinely performed they are, and then you have that next to it. I mean, even good is not good enough next to people like that.
I didn't know it's an issue, but
yeah, I think.
Now that Corey's pointed it out, I can see what he's talking about.
I thought it was fine. Anyway, but yeah, Jess is dead. Popped an head. Abby's angry.
Have to pay respects.
Holding Tommy hostage. and she's telling Eddie to throw her gun away. She does. Tommy's like, "Don't fucking do it! Don't you fucking do it!" And then she's like, "We gave you a chance. We let you live, and you wasted it." And I think that's one of the most powerful lines in the game. I love that scene. And you were like, "Oh yeah, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next?"
Hard cut
to black. Straight to flashback.
She shoots Tommy in the face. You missed that.
No, that's late. Okay.
That's later.
That's way later.
No, doesn't she shoot him and then it cuts off?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, I thought he cut off.
That's way later.
After that, then Tommy tries to retaliate, and then she shoots him.
I don't like Tommy, so I literally didn't care.
To be fair,
Tommy should have died on that floor right then when he got shot in the face.
I agree.
Tommy,
I don't like him. I don't like him as a character. I didn't like him in 1, and after, like, obviously what we're going to get to later. No,
he was great in 1.
No, Cora, he's a bad egg. I felt it.
In 1, what was the problem with him in 1? I don't understand.
I didn't like him, and I was right not to like him because he's.
And in 1, like, he has Jackson and everything, and then Joel came to him for his help, and he was even willing to go. He was willing to take Ellie the rest of the way until Joel said no.
I understand not liking Maria, because Maria's a bitch. That's
Maria's mean.
But, like, Tommy I liked. But, like, he is Tommy Plot Armor Miller in this. Like, that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, the only character that doesn't have plot armor in this is Dina. All the rest of them have some level of plot armor to keep them alive in multiple places.
Dina's plot armor is she's pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean,
keeps her alive at certain points.
It didn't keep Mel alive though, so you know.
No, guys, you got it all wrong. Dina's plot armor is Lev.
True.
Yes,
we're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll get there. But obviously, the hard cut to black. You're straight into Abby flashbacks, I believe, at that point where
young Abby, and this is where you learn why Abby feels the way she does.
Yeah.
And then I played that, and I was like, do you know what? I played it, and I saw what happened, and I was like, Joel deserved it.
How did you feel at the point where you just they hard cut to you playing as Abby? Were you annoyed? Did you like playing as Abby?
No, I was surprised to cut to it. I only thought Abby's section was going to be a couple of hours. I thought it was going to, and then we'll get back to it, and then it ended up being half the game. But after that first flashback section, I was like, if this was the other way around, then this was 100% would be acceptable. The only reason people hate the idea of it is because she knew. If we'd played half the first game as her, then people wouldn't have an issue with it. Joel deserved it, especially in this sort of world.
This is what I was saying at the start.
I'd say he deserved to die. Maybe not being beaten slowly to death like he was.
From their point of view.
Because Joel didn't beat her father to death. He just shot him in the face.
Yeah, but she's dealing with the fact that he killed her dad. And then she's dealing with the fact that he knew why her dad was in that position to begin with. He's trying to help people. And you got to deal with the fact that she spent years stewing on the idea. True. And it's just building up with anger inside of her.
Yeah.
And she basically spent her whole life trying to get back to this point to deal with the trauma that she felt at that point. And it's not just the fact Joel killed her then. It's everything she's had to deal with up to that point.
Well, she's got that, but also the fact that he stopped the cure from being made as well. Like, obviously, I don't think that matters that much to Abby, but it's added on because she's got the pressure of all her fucking friends as well. I think that's
the reason that everybody else went.
Yeah. And she's got that pressure from them too.
All of her friends went with her, but she went just because of her dad.
Yeah. But yeah, like those flashback scenes, I thought genuinely we were going to get the flashback scenes about why she did it. Then we were going to go back. But no, it's longer.
And it was as soon as we had that flashback scene, and that's when I decided that Abby was a good character, and that's when I held no malice towards. And then
I felt uncomfortable playing as her. I didn't because I built this hate of her, and hate seems like a strong word, but it's not. I literally built a hate for her for Ellie's campaign. I felt like she was the villain. Like at that point, before you get all that, she's the villain of this piece, and I hated her and I wanted her dead with good reason from that side. And then you see all this. You see how he's like a nice guy, the dad, like helping the zebra, like which was such a cute scene. That's the giraffe scene of this game.
Yeah.
And you see like how Abby's not a terrible person. Like she's
Abby's not a terrible person.
She's nice.
Like the closest thing I can relate it to is going through all of Harry Potter. But I'm thinking how evil is Snape, and you have that one scene that just switches you on Snape, and then you're like, he's one of the best characters in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's fully
spoilers for Harry Potter, people.
No, I'm sorry if you haven't got this far, if you haven't seen it at this point, that's your own fault. But and you just switch, and then there's that one scene which just switches you on the character, and you think, okay, that's just.
I wasn't quite. It justified it for me. I understood where she was coming from. I didn't quite switch my hate off at that point. I was still angry at her because we love Joel. I was still angry at that point. I didn't quite switch to.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, you can understand Abby's point of view and you can like Abby as a character, but you don't have that attachment to her and her dad like you do to Ellie and Joel.
Yeah, you haven't.
I don't hate Abby. I think Abby's a really good character, and do you know what I like? I like the way it would have been so easy for them to be like, okay, she killed Joel, and then show you her campaign of her being really nice and really good. And she wasn't. She was super awkward. Like, she's got her problems. She's not the best person, but yet you're like, you know what? Abby's all right. They could have, like, tried to make it all flowers and rainbows and whatever, but they didn't. They showed her with her faults, and yet you still got to, like, respect the fact
they showed
she's not in the wrong. Really,
like,
she's not a bad person to.
No, she's not
perfect.
But like they did it in a very. They could have took a cop-out way of doing that, but they didn't. And it made it easier to like her because she wasn't like, they didn't make her like a Mary Sue kind of trope.
Yeah.
I do like Abby, and I understand.
It took time,
but like is everyone out there loving on Dr. Anderson? You know what I mean? Like
her dad.
I
completely forgot his surname, but I just know him as her dad because you didn't really get much time with him.
So her name's Abby Anderson. That's an unfortunate name.
Abby Anderson.
I think so, or if I made that up.
This is the thing me and Kate were debating. Does Ellie have a second name, like a surname?
Miller. It's got to be Miller, hasn't it?
Is it
Joel?
No, Joel.
Yeah, so but like he's,
would you take his name?
Hold on, let me Wikipedia it.
Abby Anderson. Yeah, Abby Anderson. Let me just look up Ellie.
Oh, you mean Ellie's actual name?
Ellie's actual surname.
I don't know if they've ever.
I think she doesn't have it. Even on Wikipedia, she doesn't have a surname.
So.
Yeah, it's never been. You've never been told it.
But yeah, you see the reason why, and you start to feel like, shit, maybe there's two sides to every story, which is like what this game's about.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, how Joel's the villain of one, like, and you can definitely see in her eyes and in her story, Joel is the villain of her story. Joel is the villain in her eyes, and many others.
Joel's the worst person to ever exist in her life.
Yeah.
Joel's the worst thing to ever happen to her.
Yeah. Just like Abby is the worst thing to ever happen to Ellie. And the fact that like I feel like their stories are very like mirrored, like they're just two women at different points in the same story.
Yeah.
Where it's just. And I found when I found out, I paused the game and I was like, shit, this is like, because I was enjoying it up to that point and I was like, this is cool. But then obviously that was just like crazy when you find out like she's not a bad guy. Like she's got good reasons for what she does. She's just cares just like Ellie does, and it's devastating. That was devastating. I was just like, fucking hell.
And I feel like Ellie is less justified in the way she goes because Ellie ends up more of the bad person than Abby does, because Abby lets Joel's friends survive.
Yeah.
Abby lets him go, whereas Ellie doesn't. And Ellie is on a rampage to get everyone and anything involved.
To be fair, Ellie doesn't kill all of them.
And the only reason that Abby comes back is because Ellie is so much more hardcore than she should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that point when will you people learn that your actions have consequences? How
did you feel when it, obviously after the flashbacks, because I thought it was going to go back to the theatre, but it didn't. And it just goes to day one, Seattle, and you're playing as Abby, and then you realise...
I just thought you'd get snippets of each day, but it was literally like we're doing the exact same time frames.
Yeah, it was at that point I was...
In the 10 amount of time, I was like, okay, then. I really enjoyed that. I was really happy that we got to spend so much time with Abby.
I didn't like it at first, because I was like, I don't care about this bitch at this point. I didn't like it at first. I was like, for the whole of day one, I was like, I want to be doing this.
I feel like I differ from most people who played this game, because from the very, very beginning, I always had the mindset of Joel had to do something for her to cause this.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just thinking it from the point that she killed Joel. She's a bitch.
Yeah, I obviously knew she...
What are you calling me out for, Corey?
But I can't remember. Do you like the how they show like their different side of civilization? Like they have the stadium, they have the gym, which you're thinking that's how she got so fucking hench.
Do you know what?
Like,
this is a thing, right? I love how in this game, the men, but especially the women, they're all like different body types. No one's like super thin. They've got like hairy armpits. They all still have like super neat eyebrows, which but like I think the representation in this game is very, very good across the board.
Yeah,
like body types, just everything.
Yeah,
which is good.
100%.
Especially,
I think this is the most inclusive game I've ever played.
Yes,
in a lot of ways.
Yes,
in a lot of ways.
100%. But obviously, you see how she's got so hench, and you know at that point she's got hench so that she could take on Joel. That's
Joel. Yeah,
the 100%.
Point. Her whole story is the part of Rick and Morty where Rick and Summer get
massive
to fight the devil. That's her entire story.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, to be fair.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, just that's all I could think about when I was like watching that.
The bit I hated on that day one was when you go down into the kennels.
And you see the dogs.
You see the dogs and you play ball with Bear, which is the worst. It wasn't that bad for me because I knew I didn't kill him. Kate, when she was playing it, on the other hand, and I was watching her.
Is this just an intervention? Is this what you've called me here for? Because Corey's calling me out, and now you're calling me out.
Because she's playing ball with Bear, and she knows, she crushed his fucking skull with a sledgehammer, a couple of hours before.
I'm not good at the combat.
That's funny,
so
though.
I have to stealth kill everything, otherwise I wouldn't make it through the game.
That's what I'm saying. The game makes you feel guilty about something.
100%.
So bad.
And that's the point. I think that's the whole point. Is by that point they expected you to have killed Bear, and they expected you to have killed all of Abby's friends.
Yeah. And
then you get to this point and you think, wow, this is where you realise that Ellie's actually a bad person in this. Ellie's probably the worst person represented in this. Maybe except for Isaac. Other than that, she's
I have
probably
thoughts
the
about
worst
Isaac.
person in
We
this.
will get onto him later. I have thoughts about him.
I hope Lev's sister did manage to kill Isaac with that gunshot.
I think he did.
No, they did. They confirmed it.
Before we get to that,
it's confirmed.
Did anybody else throw the ball outside of the pen?
No.
No.
Because we're not that cruel. We've already killed the dog.
And then I threw it outside the pen because I just wanted to see what she'd say. And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy." And that's it. It's game over then. I was like, okay.
Bear's just like, you ruined his day, and then he's going to die later. That's the worst day in Bear's life.
But he'll die without his ball.
Oh, you're horrible. Obviously, at this point, you're getting to know her friends, Manny and Mel. At this point, mainly.
Yeah.
I love Manny. I think he's a fucking great character.
You even meet Manny's dad.
I didn't do that. Kate didn't do that. I think
you didn't meet Manny's dad
because I went to get the burrito first, and then if you go and get the burrito first, he comes over to you, and then you don't. I knew who he was because he looks like an older version of Manny, but I couldn't talk to him at that point. What does he say? Out of curiosity, what
I
happens?
cannot remember for the life of me.
Is it just like
it's worth another playthrough?
Well, we'll do it on the stream, Kate. Because remember, don't go get the burrito straight away. But yeah, I love Manny. I think he's a great character. He's definitely like
of her friends. He was obviously the best one.
He's the bro.
I don't think you're meant to think that way. He was obviously the best one.
He's the bro. He's like her best.
He's her Jesse.
Yeah, but
Essentially.
he's way more fun than Jesse. I like Jesse, but like he just seems like Manny's making jokes. You know what I mean? Like
100%. And it makes it way more poignant when Tommy gets him.
Yeah, when Tommy opens up his third eye, yeah.
I feel like that's the turn when you start to really meant to start turning on Tommy at that point.
See, the thing is, you know what? We're just going to skip. No, we'll get to that. We'll get to the Tommy bit.
Yeah, come on, go back here, mate. Yeah. We're still at the beginning of Abby.
I know,
I was just trying to like wrangle us all in, and we've all just got too many feelings.
So then, obviously, you're getting to know Mel. I didn't particularly like Mel. I thought she was nitpicky about everything. She moaned about everything. I understand she has a baby. I get that, but she's just, I don't know. She was very mean to Abby.
Mel hates the fact that Abby is going out of her way to go and find Owen and help Owen. Guess why? Because she wants the Owen D, and guess why? So does Owen want to give her the D. Mel is 100% justified in feeling the way she does if she's correct, which she is.
I know, but she's not right. She's not right for Owen, in my opinion. I like Owen.
She's not. But let's be honest. In these times, you don't have a lot of choice.
You know, and you know what? The fact, like, you can tell Mel is a rebound off Abby for Owen because Abby pushed him away because she had this one mindset to go and get Joel. That's all she had to do. Like you see in flashbacks, like she wants to go train rather than just hang out with Owen at the aquarium, like with the seals. I love the seals, but how that seal's still alive, no idea. Who's feeding it?
Doesn't Owen say that the tank goes out into the
ocean? Actually goes out into the bay.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes out into the sea.
That's all right. That's all right then.
You can get food in
Let
that.
them off.
Actually, right? Yeah, it was super dead.
But yeah, like she'd rather go train and just that's all she cares about. That she's got a one-track mind at that point, and that obviously pushes Owen away. And I feel like Mel's the rebound to that. But like obviously mistakes happen. There's no condoms that probably still work. So babies be made.
Yeah.
But I feel like then he feels trapped in that relationship at that point. I really liked, like, yeah, he's not morally, like, correct in a lot of stuff, but I liked him as a character. Like, he was very, because he's the only one who felt like, he made it clear, like, a lot of the time, he didn't feel that the Wolves were doing what was right. He was the only one that really seemed to question it, and seemed to, like, he used to be a Firefly, they used to be a force for good. I mean, you see him as the villains in the first game, but really they're trying to just help. And they're trying to come up with a cure, and that's a good thing. Like,
I feel like he was my least favourite character in the whole thing.
Owen does kind of stop Abby from killing Ellie, though, at the start.
He does?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't like Owen either, personally, but, you know, he was the most vocal out of all her friends in sort of being like, slow roll now, like,
yeah,
you've done what you've got to do, let's leave. Whereas Nora was just like, let's kill everyone, and so was Manny, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think Owen was portrayed as the leader of the friendship group.
Yeah,
I really do think he was.
Like, I like the scene. I mean, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I like when he's like, but it's Kiefer's character. Like when he's like, we stopped looking for the light. We stopped. We went in. Basically, saying they went in with the Wolves, thinking, "Oh, they seem like the Fireflies. They're the good guys." Hang on.
What?
Everyone, where's Chris's mom's work bag? Please comment below. Blues Clues. We can start a Blues Clues segment, Chris.
Please guess in the comments below, and we'll let you know in the next video if you're right.
We have to do a winnering and do a giveaway.
But yeah. That's my train of thought now. But yeah, Owen, he says he's like, they stopped looking for the light. They saw the Wolves as like a replacement for the Fireflies. Like they seemed like they were the good guys. Obviously, that became very clear to them. Well, especially Owen. I don't feel like many of them question it. Like Abby was only using them as somewhere as a tool to get to Joel, but the rest of them seemed fine with it, which is surprising considering how like. They used to be quote unquote good guys. Like Owen's the only one who's really questioning it at that point.
But in that kind of
two of them were medics as well. Like
you'd think like a kind-hearted Mel, in terms of being a medic and caring about others, would question it also.
Mel and Nora.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
in that kind of world, if you've got a place that's safe and you've got, like, they are a lot closer to normal living than the Jackson settlement.
Yeah, Jackson
like
kind
when
of felt
you go
like
around that whole place, it's very normal looking. If you've got all that, and the alternative is being out with the clickers and the cult, you're not gonna bite the hand that feeds you, are you?
It's the best opportunity they've got at the time.
Yeah, I feel that's part of what he means. Like, they got settled into something that was easy, and they weren't really helping people. They weren't really doing much good, and I do like that. That's why he obviously wants to go to Santa Barbara later to kind of like find the Fireflies again. He's ready to leave all this fucking life behind. Clearly, like, it's wrong that he wants to leave his baby, but like,
I will give him props for that. He was right to want to go to Santa Barbara because that's where they were. They weren't there, but the way to find them was there.
Yeah,
they were there at one point.
Yeah,
at some
point the path to them was there, and it's like he was Abby's moral compass at that point, in terms of like he's saying that stuff to her, and she's like, maybe we weren't doing good stuff, and that's how she becomes. I don't know. She goes later on to she goes looking for all this and because of Owen, like she's doing it for Owen. I feel a lot of the time as well. But anyway, we'll skip ahead with that with Owen. But I just wanted to get that point across with Owen because, like,
Chris
is a really well-rounded character in terms of, like, he had a lot more about him than a lot of, like, people like Manny or.
I'm not saying that anybody isn't a well-rounded character. Everyone in this is very well realised. I just didn't like him as a person. He's a very good guy.
He did look like Sean Ashmore, though.
I really thought that he was just a bit of a bitch. If Abby told him that's the way it was going to be, then that's the way it was going to be. And I just didn't see him as a very strong individual, a very strong person.
To be
fair,
he
was broken at that point.
Would you say no to Abby? Henched like that in front of you?
In what way?
Corey wouldn't say no to Abby. Corey's in love with Abby.
No, true.
I'm trying to take. I feel I'm victimised here. This isn't fair.
No, I'm not judging you for that. Abby is a cool. She's a very good character.
She's a specimen.
And Laura Bailey's voice, you can't do no wrong with that.
Yeah, man.
Abby is the description of a unit.
Yeah,
Abby is
an absolute unit.
She's a monster in that whole thing. She's far the strongest person. She's not the biggest person because obviously you see enemies that are bigger than Abby, but she's the strongest person in the entire thing.
Yeah, day 2 is.
It's where you find you get like stronger.
Yes,
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my hands up now and say I completely rushed Abby's section, not because I don't like Abby.
No, I felt like that.
Because I wanted to get back to the like theatre. I wanted to know what happened so bad that was just like, I'm gonna run. Every opportunity I got, I ran through every fight. I hardly looted. Ellie's campaign, I explored everywhere. I got all the collectibles. I looked everywhere. I killed all the enemies. Abby's campaign, I was just like, run.
Yeah,
see, I didn't. I explored everywhere as Abby as well.
No.
I played Abby as well as I played Ellie. I made sure I went to see everything.
I couldn't. I should go back really, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to play that game again.
The thing with Abby, I felt like I rushed through her section because not because I didn't like it, not because I quite enjoyed Abby's section. I think her section is stronger than Ellie's section of the game. However, because I just wanted to know what was happening in that theatre, I needed to get back to that theatre. I felt like I rushed through the section, and even though I was rushing, I still felt like it dragged because I wanted to get back to the theatre. I was like, because I remember texting Corey, and I was like, I'm going to the island. I'm anywhere near the end. And he's like, no, you got a bit left. I'm like, fuck's sake. The aquarium was quite prominent.
She went back to the aquarium. You're skipping ahead getting to the aquarium because before she got to the aquarium, she met 2 of the nicest people in the whole thing.
Yeah,
she met what's the name? It's Lev
and Yara.
Yara, yeah, they're brilliant, absolutely fantastic characters.
Yeah, and I was going to say this was after she got strung up by the Seraphites, the scars.
She got captured by a big Seraphite.
The beastie Seraphite.
Who steals her backpack.
Yeah. I love that scene when you're attacking her afterwards, and you're just like, I want my fucking backpack back, bitch. It's got my stuff in.
That's the same energy as that enemy in Resi 4 in Ada's Separate Way campaign that's wearing Leon's jacket after they take it from him in the main campaign.
but like she gets stronger. This is a scene that was shown from Paris Games Week like a few like years ago.
Yeah.
Which was the one everyone was moaning about, like the violence, saying how bad it was, and it is bad. Like, but at that point, I'm kind of numb to it.
I went back and watched that, and Abby is not henching.
She's not as hench. No,
she's nowhere near as henching, and they've obviously bulked her. She's been on a protein.
Yeah.
She's been getting up to that point where she can be like the biggest person in the game. But in that original trailer, obviously you don't know who she is, and she's not the same build as what she is. In
the leaks that I read, how they described this secondary character, because obviously because I wasn't really into it, I wasn't really paying attention, but it was like the character that you play the majority of the game as is the character that you see getting strung up in the blah 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 trailer.
Yeah.
That's like, obviously I didn't know it was Abby then, I didn't know her name. And neither did the leaker really. They were just like, oh, it's that blonde girl from the one that gets hung. That's the girl you play the majority of the game as.
Yeah. Like,
about a third of the game, but yeah.
This was just a leak though.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more than I expected. But this scene, obviously we've seen it before with Paris Games Week, but the Yara gets fucking arms smashed in.
That is disgusting.
That's so grim, and the sound of it as well. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Like there's a lot of moments in this game where I'm just like, oh
that
no.
Are two really brutal moments.
But yeah, that was just terrible and grim. But like then after that, you're trying to escape, and that's kind of like a more of a horror-y moment of the game because like, obviously it's dark. If you don't follow them with that light, you're fucked. But yeah, like, and you've got all the stalkers and everything around and clickers and stuff. And obviously you're sitting here thinking, aren't these the bad guys? Because obviously they're Seraphites. And obviously from Abby's point of view, they're the bad guys. But obviously,
I think you realise pretty quick when they were trying to kill the actual bad ones. It's like, oh, okay, this is obviously a different side of this situation.
Yeah. So you help them out, and they're very good, very very well-rounded characters. I really liked Lev and Yara, especially Lev. What happens then? they get to the hut, and they put her in there.
You get to the point. You still head to the aquarium, but you leave them in that place, don't you?
Yeah.
You try and help her by splintering her arm.
Which I'm sorry, it's a shattered arm. Aquarium. That's not fucking working.
Yeah, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know.
I love how Yara's like, we just gotta set it. Like, come on, your arm's in pieces. But
and you only find that out later on.
True. Yeah. And then you go back to the aquarium, and is this when you have the flashback scene where you go to the aquarium with Owen? I feel like it is.
I think it's just before that, yeah. Somewhere around there. A
lot of these scenes are just, I can't tell the order of them because everything just happened all at once.
Yeah.
But we're all traumatised, that's what it is. Owen tells her that story about how...
You had that conversation with Owen about how you stopped looking for the light.
He
didn't want to kill that child.
Yeah, that old guy.
The old man,
the old guy. Yeah, because you find out that you go back to the base, don't you? And then this is where you meet Isaac for the first time. This was before, we'd missed this bit. But you go back, you meet Isaac for the first time, don't you?
Yeah.
And he's the guy out of Westworld, which is awesome. I knew that voice straight away.
I was wasted character.
Yeah, this is my concern with Isaac. Like, he wasn't in much. He was very menacing when he was on screen. Like, he's clearly a bad guy. And obviously you learn a lot about him through the letters that you see beforehand. So he's kind of been built up as this character. And he's not really used much. And for like someone who's like a actual famous actor, like, and a really good one like that, like, just feels a bit wasted, in my opinion.
I think they probably just didn't want him to overshine everybody else that's there.
True.
But the stories, Abby and Ellie and what they're dealing with, they didn't want to introduce this third party antagonist.
However, one scene that I listened to Neil Druckmann on the podcast, and he was saying they deleted a scene that he feels like maybe they should have kept, is a scene where Isaac finds Abby and basically takes her under his wing as like
I heard about
a daughter kind of thing. And I feel like that's kind of would have been needed, because you need to know why she's still staying after Joel Because obviously she was using it as a tool to get to Joel, but like afterwards, like why is she still there if she's got no allegiance to these people?
Someone
like,
drops it out as well that she's like his right hand man, like she's his best killer and all
she's
that.
She's like his best.
But it kind of
it falls a bit. That's the only bit of the game I have an issue where it just falls a bit flat, and I don't understand why. Like her relationship with him, like obviously she's his best fighter and stuff, but it's just like, I don't really buy it. But obviously with that extra scene, maybe, that's the thing.
If you would have had that extra layer, it would have been like, obviously she's going to be grateful for taking them in, and obviously she's going to feel some loyalty towards him, and that kind of pads it up more why she didn't really want to turn against the wolves, why she didn't just turn around and kill him. Like I think that was a mistake to cut that scene out, personally. Definitely.
It would have made what happened later on a lot more impactful.
Yeah. Because I didn't care at that point about Isaac as a character. I know he's a villain, really, but like,
no, exactly. I see him die and think, "Yo, yeah, of course,
cool, yeah."
Get it, bro.
But like, so you've met him. I was going somewhere with this and I completely forgot.
He tells you that in X amount of days, the wolves are going to attack the Scars Island, and he wants you and Manny to lead the charge.
And through him, you find out that Owen's missing, and that's why you head to the aquarium. There we go. That's what I was trying to get to.
But Abby goes out on her own because he doesn't want anybody leaving too close to the attack, so she sneaks out.
Yeah, she sneaks out after Manny shows her lets her out. After you find Manny's sex, then did everyone find?
Did you do the thing where you read the note and he pulls it away from you?
Yeah. I hadn't finished reading it, and I was no.
You have to like find a video and just pause it. So you can read the rest.
That's pretty good, to be fair.
Obviously, like there's that bit where you got to follow the light, which I thought was cool. Follow the light to get to the aquarium because like the sun was going down. I thought that was really cool. She goes back to Yara and Lev. Just because she has like it's a dream, right? Is this after she finds him and has sex with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then she wakes up with him.
What the fuck happened to Owen? He's got fucking burns all over his body. Did anyone else notice that? Like he is burnt to shit. Like
it's been a lot of fights,
but we don't get any. I suppose, but like I want to know you got the burn. But yeah. So they have that sex scene, which is what it is. It's a bit random. Like
I don't think it's random because I think that they generally care about sort of thing. There's obviously a lot of tension there.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was like, okay, and obviously they do obviously they love each other, but there's obviously other complications along the way. So then obviously she wakes up after having the dream where she's going towards the room where her dad was, but then she sees Lev and Yara
and Lev
strung up,
hanging,
dead. Yeah, and that's like she's like, shit, I gotta go help these guys. So she heads out, finds them. Lev nearly shoots her in the head, but then they realise what's up, and then she checks on Thingy's arm, and that fucking arm looks so bad at that point.
Yeah, it's really good. Colour. That's when they realise that it's not gonna work. Whatever she's doing isn't working.
The colour on that arm, the graphics though. That's the thing I feel like with the violence and how gruesome this game is. Like the only reason like it's so visceral and bad is because the graphics look so good. You know what I mean? It looks so realistic, and you're just like, oh fuck. But obviously they take him back to the aquarium. Alice nearly kills Lev, so they have to stop Alice from doing so. But then obviously
at this point, Mel's also at the aquarium.
Mel's there as well.
We missed that, but Mel's also there. That's why she took it back, because Mel is a trained medic.
Yeah, and that's where that whole mess on the operating table came from when you were with Ellie.
Not quite. Yeah,
not quite. That is where you got.
You got
you go up with Lev.
You have to actually get.
You have to go off and get the med kit stuff, which is I like this part of the game. So you head into the hospital because Lev's told you that the bridge is going over the skyscrapers,
so you head towards the hospital, and then you go up into these skyscrapers and go across the
bridges.
The bridges, which are trains.
I love that idea that it's just like so much world building in terms of that faction and how like they always seem like the walls were always saying they always seem to be like one step ahead or go round and on stuff, and they never knew how, and that's how, and that's like really cool. And I love how when you go higher up the buildings, you see all these shrines and stuff to kind of like
the one thing I didn't get,
what's that?
At that lift next to the hospital, which they built out of wood, you could see that it was an addition to the building. How did the wolves not spot
Fog?
The wolves never look up, Jamie.
The building?
The wolves
it wasn't even up. You could see it from the hospital looking straight ahead. It's just like, how did they not see that?
Wolves don't pay attention to shit, do they?
YOLO, never mind.
But
you know what, Jamie? It's mirrors. That's all you need to know.
Mirrors, okay.
But they go up this building, crossing the whole bit about crossing the cranes, and Abby's issue with heights is so well done gameplay wise.
Really well done. And when she was going across those, I have a fear of heights.
I thought it was you. I was thinking. I said to Kate, like someone
when I was going over it and doing it, I felt personal anxiety.
I can imagine.
It was done really well because it was represented really, really well, and I was there like, oh my god. When you were walking off that single like thin bit of like, oh my god.
I feel like though,
I was having issues.
Sarah fights build your bridges better. There's bits where it's like you're holding on to a bit, and then there's suddenly a bit with nothing to hold on to. I'm like, why?
Just so that untrained people can't use their bridges.
I suppose, but then Abby is not trained.
The only reason that Abby fell off is because she was scared of heights to begin with.
Yeah, it's so well done. The faces she pulls though, when you look at her face when she's got all those things,
and the FOV pulls out, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Really good. It's really well done.
Such a good effect. And now obviously they fall through into the swimming pool conveniently. It's a good job that was there. And then they have to go down the building that's kind of on fire a bit, and it's fucking wrecked, and it's got a fuckload of clickers in. I like this bit of the game because it feels very Resident Evil-y, like, but also there's a bit later that feels even more Resident Evil-y.
The whole game gave me Resident Evil vibes.
This is why I'm surprised you weren't into it in the first place.
I don't have a PlayStation 3.
This is true.
I had an Xbox.
Definitely Resi vibes off this. And there was 19 floors of that building. I was like,
especially in the hospital later on.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So obviously they're going down this building. They have to fight a load of clickers and stuff. Like you can sneak past them and stuff. It's very difficult to do that. But obviously you get down to the bottom, and then you're at the hospital. You leave Lev where he is because that's not a good idea. Taking Lev into a bunch of wolves. And you get there and you speak to Nora, who... Hang on, you get arrested first, don't you? Arrested.
Yeah, they arrest you.
Because you're like, I gotta take stuff to Isaac.
Isaac said you need to grab her.
Yeah. So she gets arrested, which shows really a lot of the wolves have no loyalty for their people. Really, like there's no friends within the wolves apart from maybe that close knit group.
Their little faction.
Yeah, like maybe at that point, maybe she's thinking, questioning them a bit more. Yeah. So Nora lets her free because she is a part of that knit group and the friend.
Yeah.
Tells her that there's stuff in the lower levels, which is interesting because it's the lower levels where Nora ends up.
Yeah.
And I know Kate thought this as well, that maybe you'd, because it was basically after Nora sends you down there is when Ellie gets to the hospital, right? As far as I can tell.
I think Ellie gets there just after Abby escapes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been cool if that was happening like simultaneously. I thought that would have been really cool.
I thought it was going to happen at the same time because when Abby tells Nora, she's like, I need this, 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 and this. And then when you look down through the vents as Ellie, Abby's putting stuff in Nora's putting stuff in a box. So I thought Nora's going to get you the supplies,
but
she was going to come and give it to you, but then she doesn't turn up and you were going to go and you were going to find her dead.
Yeah. But to be fair, like at that point they are clearing out the hospital still, so it can't be far out.
I'm not sure Abby ever actually finds out if Ellie killed Nora. Yeah?
No, I don't think she does.
I don't think she does she?
But when you play as Ellie, don't you ever hear on the radio or you overhear someone talking
saying that
the school and the hospital has been complete, like they're saying that somebody's been in there and they've dropped all their people.
But at that point, Abby's out of contact with the wolves. She hasn't got access to a radio.
It must happen
So
very, very either straight afterwards or kind of simultaneously, because I remember hearing when I'm playing as Ellie, Abby's escaped. So it literally must have, and that literally must have just happened. You know what I mean? So maybe she's in the lower levels just as Ellie's chasing off Nora. Maybe, I don't know. I just thought that was a good idea.
I'm only assuming that Abby leaves just as Ellie knocks Nora into the low levels.
Yeah. It would have been cool though if it happened just at the same time, but then as Abby, you find Nora dead. That would have been cool.
I think the timings will be a bit off then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But anyway, you get to play Abby. You go into the depths, and you see everything that's going on there. You try and find the trauma kit, and you see the most Resident Evil boss I've seen in anything except Resident Evil in a very long time. That thing was the creature from what's the game, Chris?
Fucking Inside.
It's that is the monster from 100%. Inside. It exactly is what it was.
Yeah, it took me a good few attempts to kill that thing. Because I kept getting caught on geometry and I was trying to run away.
That's what happened to me.
And as soon as it grabs you, you were dead.
Yeah.
I never died once to it, so I didn't see any as an
I didn't either, but I saw him when Kate did it. But when you're shooting it and you think, oh, it's down, it starts splitting off. You're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And you get the second one, there's a super armored thing, whatever it is.
That like annoying little thing that can't actually hurt you that much. It just
I think it's meant to be there at the end to show you the fucking way out in it.
Yeah.
But you follow it later. But that was a cool moment. And I was like, this is very Resident Evil, because it was in a parking lot as well, and you're just like, yeah.
It was cool. It was very cool. I did like that, and it was a kind of a step up from what you'd normally faced.
Yeah. So you leave the hospital with the medical stuff.
Yeah.
You find Lev.
Fighting the blob.
Yeah, the inside blob. And then you go back to the aquarium where they do some work on Yara's arm, which is you don't see it. I thought you were going to see it.
Chris, they take a hacksaw and they cut half her arm.
Well, no, because they were going to do it. Owen was going to do that, but I think they do it a bit more surgically. But
no, Chris, they literally use a saw.
I thought Owen said
make sure it's clean first.
Sterilise it, I suppose. Yeah, but I'm glad you didn't see that, because the arm was bad enough as it was to see. I didn't need to see them take the arm off, so I'm happy they didn't. And I think that's this conversation when they have outside where Owen's like, we stop looking for the light and stuff. I think. Yeah, and obviously, and Lev's stroking Alice at that point as well, being introduced to Alice, and then after all that, this is where Lev runs
Yara
off.
have an argument. Yeah. Lev runs off.
Yeah, and then you're looking for Lev with Yara.
Then you find out he nicks a boat.
Yeah, and during all that, Mal tells you you're a piece of shit. Which Abby, does, I suppose Abby is a bit at that point, but like
she's a bit, yeah.
Mel's very harsh in this scene, but obviously she doesn't want her to come to Santa Barbara. But this is where you go out looking for Lev. You stroke the dog, play with the dog. You get a little shark for Lev, and then obviously this is when Owen's like, "Yeah, you coming to the island with me? It's coming to Santa Barbara with us, yeah." And Abby's like, "I have respect for Abby here and how." She's. I have respect for Abby here, how she's putting Owen into his place there. Like, you got responsibilities, bitch. Deal with it. Like, you shouldn't be doing this shit. I like that. But then obviously they head to the island after Lev, but they have to go find a boat first because obviously Lev's took the boat.
You're heading towards the docks to get a boat to get to the island.
Yeah.
And you take Lev with you, and that's where you meet Manny.
Yeah.
You tell Lev to stay back because people won't like. Not Lev. You tell Yara to stay back because they won't like.
Yeah, obviously.
Seeing you with the Seraphite.
Yeah. So then there's Manny. He's the only one left, it seems. So this sniper keeps taking them out. And then obviously, I really like this like whole action scene. I thought it was really cool because obviously every time you went to shoot back, you got shot. Regardless, you know what I mean?
I didn't even try and shoot back.
Like, you couldn't, like, hurt.
Even just going from cover to cover, you got shot sometimes.
It shows you how good Tommy is.
When I was playing this, it took me I got into the car park structure and I got to like the second floor and I was like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. I've just realised who the sniper is, because obviously you have that flashback with Ellie and Tommy teaches her how to snipe. I was like, oh, the sniper's Tommy. I was like, oh, that's me being dumb. And then Chris was like,
I didn't realise
till the end.
So
I did straight away. I
feel like this is really powerful because like for me who didn't know, I didn't count on it was Tommy because I was too emotional. I couldn't think straight. So I was just like, kept getting shot. I was getting angrier and angrier. I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. And then obviously shoots Manny in the head. He shoots Manny in the head out of nowhere. Just that's very similar to the Jesse Jeff. You don't really get much time to mourn that at all. And I was so angry. And when you go into the room and then I'm really angry. I'm just heading towards the door where I know he's going to be. And then it's Tommy. And I'm just like, oh no. Because I was ready to kill him. But obviously
you realise it's Tommy, you're like, oh my god, I can't.
I was like, oh my god. I'm like,
but at that point, you know that Tommy doesn't obviously die because Ellie meets him after that.
Yeah. Clearly, with his plot armor, gets thrown into the water.
Him and Jesse both don't know. Yeah, she knocks off Jesse because Jesse just got there, I think, as well.
It's funny though because I felt guilty. I felt guilty for like wanting to kill Tommy.
Yeah.
But after that, they find the boat. They head to the island after Lev. Do you know what? I was like trying to figure out where this island is, but apparently it's not in our life. It's not an island. It's just because of the flooding. It's become an island. So it's still part of Seattle, but because of the flooding, it's become an island, and I think that's really cool because obviously, because everything's gone to shit, no one's maintaining like anything
the
to keep
waves or anything.
Exactly. So everything's just fucked.
Dams would have fallen.
That's really
like
cool. So it wasn't meant to be an island, but obviously the Seraphites kind of claimed it for themselves. So you head there. Obviously Lev's gone after his mother. You fight a load of people on the way. This is the same time that the wolves are attacking, which is interesting. And adds an interesting dynamic to getting through and stuff. But you get to Lev with his.
And he's killed his mom. He's had to kill his mom.
Now, we've skipped over something very important here.
Yeah. So, how do you feel in how they handled the fact that Lev is trans?
I think they handled
it very, very well. And when you find out that Lev is trans, there were hints before that.
Yeah.
When you hear the other Seraphites calling Lev Lily.
Yeah.
And then Lev asks Abby, "What are you going to ask me about that?" And Abby's like, "Do you want me to ask you about that?"
He's like, "No."
And he says no. And that's a very good way to handle it because they don't go into it any more than that. But it's the whole reason that Lev has been segregated. From the community.
Because he shaved his head. But and obviously when you're there, with the mom, you find out that he's accidentally killed his mom because she was chasing him and tried to attack him. He was defending himself.
Yeah, but he pushed it off, and the mom and his mom fell, and that's it.
So that's the reason why you were hurrying there, because Yara says the mom is so devout, she believes so much in this religion that she will kill him on sight.
Yeah, and they handled it really well, in my opinion. Like I think, like him being trans, and like it wasn't like thrown in your face. Like it was very subtle, and I think they handled it really well. However, what I have heard is a lot of trans people are being triggered by it because a lot of the events are very similar to what they've been through, like with their parents, not like killing the parent, but obviously the parents not accepting their lifestyle and it's stuff. And like I heard some people saying like maybe they should have put a warning or something for those people, but it's just like, how do you even
approach it? How do you approach it about spoiling it to begin with?
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, it's a difficult one, but I personally think that they handled it quite well, and it's very well.
Until you're in that situation, until you've experienced that, you can't really identify with how other people are perceiving that.
Yeah.
I think it could be. I've seen a lot of trans people that have found it really encouraging though, and really cool that actually there's been a lot of good representation in this game. much more representation than they've ever had before in any other game.
You'd never get it in games. I've never really seen it in games.
Maybe they could do like a new system. Maybe like if there's going to be subjects that are like sensitive subjects, maybe we could have a new sort of
saying that, like the whole
for things that people might find upsetting. You know, like when you watch a TV show and something bad's going to happen, and they say, "Oh, this episode that you're about to watch deals with like very sensitive subjects that some people may find like very upsetting."
To be fair, I'm surprised they didn't have that kind of deal in general ahead of this game. You know what I mean? Because it did, like, even without that, like, it's very. Like, there's plenty of stuff in this that could have been triggering for other people. Like, it's a rough experience.
Look,
like, it is.
Oh, definitely. It's not just the fact of dealing with gay or trans rights. It's dealing with the amount of violence that's in there.
Yeah.
Dealing with how people deal with certain situations. There's a lot to process here. There's a lot to go through.
And especially coming out at a time that the world's in now, where a lot of people are going through a lot of shit and they're not maybe in the best mental space. My recommendation would be, if you're not in the best mental state at the moment, maybe hold off playing this game, because it's very heavy. You know what I mean? Like, on you, it's taxing on you mentally. I felt exhausted playing this game. I don't know about anyone else, but it's rough.
It's mentally exhausting, but at the same time, I feel like no matter what time you're in, it's an escape from what you're currently doing. It's with what's in the world. That's how video games work for me, anyways. An escape from what's currently going on, and it's a way to relax from the side. And whether it's a traumatic experience or not, it's like watching a sad movie, or watching your favorite TV series, which has sad parts to it. It's a different kind of emotional, an emotional experience than it is in real life. And I feel like anybody can really enjoy it. I feel like a lot of the reason that people are divided in it is a lot of the people have invested a lot of emotion in it, and you can tell. And I feel like this is the first time I've seen it in a video game where people have made proper emotional decisions upon the game.
Yeah.
And that's the reason people are giving. You go into the reviews and they don't say, "Oh, it plays crap," or it does, all the graphics are bad. People's complaints are based entirely on emotional value.
It's emotional response
according to the game.
Not. I don't think.
And I feel like most of the gaming audience, a lot of people that play games, don't realise that the fact that they've got any sort of emotional response out of it is a positive to the medium rather than a negative.
Yeah.
They think it's a bad feeling, therefore it's a bad game. But no, any feeling that you get invested into it shows that what they're trying to do worked.
I've never had a game give me this emotional response, like in this kind of level. Like, I got so emotional playing this game. Like, this is like this game affected me. Like, it's more emotional than any other film I've watched. It's special. It's very special. Like, game. It's done something that I don't feel video games have done before.
It's something about the fact that you actually play the characters and the things that happening to the characters that you're playing.
Yeah,
makes you more connected to them
than
it's just a third party watching like over the shoulder of someone in a film.
Yeah, 100%.
Where was we before? I forget. We kind of went off the topic.
Sorry.
We found
Lev with his mom.
Yeah,
found Lev with his mom, and then we got to fight for the rest of the island, which is, I feel, is the most cinematic part of the game by far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go through the rest of the island.
Although I did feel the island dragged a bit.
Maybe
this is where I was like, I know I'm on this day now. I need to get back to what's going on in the theatre. This felt dragging a bit.
Well, what they're trying to do is obviously get the big set piece right after the island is when you get back to Ellie.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get this, and this is the big set piece of the game, and this is the most technically impressive part of the game.
Yeah, when you're riding on the horse through the flames and stuff.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
And everyone's fighting everyone, and it's big. Everything about it is big.
Did you kill everyone in these?
You what?
Did you kill everyone in these
No.
areas?
This is the only part of the game where I skipped a lot of the people.
Yeah, I felt like this isn't.
The game did a good job of telling you that there's emphasis on getting out there quick.
Yeah,
and I feel like the whole point of here wasn't to kill people and basically the whole point wasn't to kill people, but it was to get off the island.
Yeah, it was to protect.
At one point, enemies are actually respawning. I think.
Really?
Jamie
was just killing everyone.
To find out.
Some more wolves came after you killed them, and the surf fights in one area.
Well, that makes sense because they're like all coming onto
But
the
I
island.
think they did a really good job in showing like a massive battle happening.
Yeah,
it's really, really good.
It was really cool.
Very, very, very technically impressive, that part of the game.
And obviously, you feel like you got to protect Lev, so you got to get out of there. And especially
we
with
have
it on
kind
the
of
horse.
skipped a bit, guys.
Which bit?
Yara killing Isaac.
I was going to get to that now.
Bit.
Yeah. So Yara jumps out of a window, and you think nothing of it, do you? You're just like, oh, we just got to follow her. Bang.
Yara,
shot.
and you see Yara's done.
Yeah.
You see that then, and Yara's on the ground bleeding out, and you're like, that's it, done. And then Isaac walks out of the bush.
Did you, however, think at this point, I just fixed your fucking arm up?
Literally, that's what makes it so frustrating, because you've gone through all of this to save her. You've gone through all this to,
and she died.
help. And it was like everything, all that was for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it adds to the frustration as well.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it does make you think like, oh my god, like we went through so much and we were so close, and it's gone. It's over. Yeah.
I think like when obviously you're fighting with the wolves and stuff, and they're all like, "Oh, it's Abby," and you're just like, "Shit, what is going to happen? What is going down here right now?" And then Isaac comes fucking waltzing out the fucking.
As Abby, did you kill any wolves?
Yes, I did.
I did.
I had to. I tried to avoid it
because I'm like, get to that warehouse bit, and you're like, "Oh shit!" You're like, Abby, obviously, but I was like, and then Lev says, "Oh my god, you killed some of your friends," and you're like, you can't do shit about it at that point, basically.
But the thing is, at this point, the wolves are there to kill everyone, including the kids.
Yeah.
Like,
give them a chance.
It's like the wolves aren't. The wolves are they're bad guys at this point, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the Seraphites aren't great.
It's exactly this point of your game when you get to the point where Abby becomes Joel and Lev becomes Ellie.
Yeah. I love the mirroring of that.
Point, and you get and then you're meant to click with the same understanding of, oh my god, this is how this plays out, and this is how you play these characters, and this is the sort of emotional investment you're meant to have into these people, and it does work the exact same way.
I think day 3 was when I was like, I'm with Abby here. Like she's not a bad person. She's trying to rectify for what she did. Like I don't think she feels like obviously when she killed Joel afterwards. I don't think she got any satisfaction from that in the end. Like that she didn't feel like
she thought she would.
She thought she was going to feel better after it. She don't. She thought
I have a very different visual effect in my head when we say satisfaction. Is that slapping me with a glove? Like satisfaction. I demand satisfaction.
No, I just don't feel like.
I don't think that was the end, and it wasn't worth it.
No.
After the fact, and she realised that, but it was too late at that point.
And then now, obviously, with Lev, she's trying to I feel like she's trying to make up for that. The bad she's done in her life, obviously, and.
I think that's a big reason why she went back for it.
We've skipped over the most powerful line after Yara's death. Lev's like, "Your people did this," and she's like, "No, you are my people." That line is a fucking powerful line, and that's the time
that exact moment is when she's 100% left the wolves.
Yeah, that's the time you know.
That's it. She's never going back.
Yeah, Abby's like, she's a good person now. Like, I mean, not a good person, but like,
I know what you mean, but she's transcended what she was previously to what she's now.
Redeem her previous actions.
There's a way back for Abby from that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then obviously after that, they make it off the island. You had this really gruesome fight with this big Seraphite guy who I thought you were going to rip his jaw off at one point, but you don't. No. You just stab him. And I was like, are they really going to make me rip this guy's jaw off right in front of me? That's so grim. But no, you just stab him.
She almost gets there, but
literally.
She gets him in.
And then you get out. The fight's obviously still going on in the background. And you do hear one on the radio. This is what I was saying to Jamie earlier. You hear someone say on the radio that Isaac is dead. And the wolves are like, what do we fucking do now? So even without their leader, they're fucking nothing at that point. And that's when you go back to the aquarium. And the first thing you see when you get in there is a dead dog, Alice.
Well, the first thing you see is how Ellie broke in.
Well, yeah, you're like, oh, this is weird. Why is this door open? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you see Alice. And that's
like, oh.
I felt so guilty at that point. I was just like, because like Lev had grown attached to the dog as well, and I like Lev. And I was just like,
Lev is the MVP of this game. He is the best character in the game,
especially when he does something later. I obviously she then goes and finds Owen and Mal dead, and then she's really
and that's when
distraught at that point.
She's really distraught, and she doesn't know who did it until she finds the map. From
Lev gives her the map. Lev's like, yeah, look.
Yeah, and that's the only point that's the only reason that I feel like the open world part of the game work, because that's the only reason you had to have the map to begin with.
All the drawings
is that map is the map from the open world part of the game. That's the only point that it comes back in.
And then we get back to the theatre,
and then it hard cuts to the theatre. Yeah. I think that between the aquarium and the theatre, Abby's learned about everybody else that's died. All of her friends.
She must have. Then again, she wouldn't have any contact with the wolves.
To be fair, on that map, there were locations where all of her friends were.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it was.
At this point, she's like, "Shit, someone's." She's like, "Tommy's not the only one."
Yeah,
because she knows about Tommy at that point.
And the way that Abby gets into the theatre, she finds the pictures of all of her friends.
Yeah, she finds the pictures. That's what I'm saying. She gets into the theatre in the really easy open window that you always leave. And I did think why Ellie was like, close the window. She never does. I'm like, that's an easy way into the theatre. You've barricaded the door, but you left the fucking window open. Come on.
You can't close the window because that's where the cable's coming from to power the rest of the theatre.
At least shut it too. You know what I mean? But yeah, she climbs up the ladders with Lev, goes in, finds those photos, and she's like, "Wow, they're fucking hunting us down at this point."
She finds what I like as well is she gets in there and she finds Tommy, and Tommy's there fucking moaning about his gold chain. and then she holds him up, and then everything happens.
Yeah.
Although this is one bit where I think after Ellie gets away from her, Abby's clearly got plot armor at this point because Abby's got no weapon and Ellie's got all of hers.
I see. It's where you think this, but I think I think it's more even than you think, because Abby is obviously a stronger person, and Abby's a trained killer. Abby has all the training that will come from basic military training at this point. And Abby starts off with a better footing than Ellie, just because of the fact of the way she was brought up. Ellie got brought up in a very guerrilla warfare style, but Abby has proper training, and that's why she dealt with it as she did.
I hated this part of the game. When you have to chase
after Ellie.
I got into that theatre room with the seats and stuff. I hit behind a seat and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go after Ellie. Why is it making me do this? And then you have to do it, and it's just like, and then they go into that blatant area, which when you're coming through earlier as Ellie, you're like, this is a boss area. Yeah, this has really got a lot of cover and shit, and there's stuff to hide behind and go through and stuff. And I'm like, this is going to come into fruition later, and it did. And then obviously they make you fight Ellie, and I hated it. I let Abby die a few times there.
have you seen the death animations at that part of the game?
Yeah.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
Some of the ways that Abby can die during that part of the game.
And
the worst one's a shotgun.
Kate was fine.
Shotgun when she gets you in the belly and then gets you in the face.
That's how the game ended, Cora.
I never saw that bit. I never saw that bit.
At one point, if you try and go at Ellie, she's got the shotgun, and she catches you with the shotgun, she shoots you in the belly, then you go on your knees, you look back up Ellie, and Ellie goes up to her, shotgun in the face, blows her head off.
Yeah.
So,
I kept forgetting that I couldn't.
Yeah. I've seen the meme where that happens, and then it just hard cuts to the Skyrim intro.
You know what though? They're some of the best death animations in the game, and they're the most satisfying, in my opinion. Because I was like, I let her die a few times.
I had the exact opposite at the very, very end of the game.
Yeah,
it's when I let Abby kill me in the game to see if the game would let me do it, and it wouldn't.
No, it did. It did, because she killed Kate in the end of the game.
Yeah, we can physically die, but the game doesn't incorporate that into the story.
Oh yeah, obviously.
You restart.
Yeah. But with this theatre bit, what annoyed me, I didn't generally like the boss fight, because what annoyed me was you're throwing bottles and shit, and Ellie's reacting to it. And I'm like, Ellie, you've been doing this for the fucking whole game.
You should know better.
Come on, man, be better. and just she's got, I don't know. It just felt like she was very AI at that point, and obviously she's got to have to be. But
they can only do so.
They could have done better with.
And also, if they made Ellie as good as you were playing Ellie, you would actually stand no chance.
What would have been cool?
Abby would have just been insta killed basically.
What would have been cool if they kind of like if they kind of made Ellie play in the style that you played Ellie, not necessarily make it obviously that good, but like in the same style. That would have been cool. I would have liked.
What I would like to know is whether the upgrades that you get for Ellie in the game apply to that battle.
You know what though? What annoyed me though, because she kept using the nail bombs, and I never fucking use the nail bombs.
I was like,
it never got me. The last,
other than against the bloater.
When I got a hold of Ellie, is while she was laying one of those down. So
yeah, I did as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like that boss fight, but it was what it is. And then obviously you have a little scuffle. You beat the shit out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Beat that shit out.
And as Abby would on a 1-to-1 fight, Abby would demolish Ellie.
Abby is
especially at that point.
This is like the Terminator versus Sarah Connor in Terminator.
Yeah. What I meant by plot armor, that bit for Abby was all Ellie needed was one shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she would have got that shot, to be honest, if it wasn't for the plot armor of that whole section.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we totally skipped over that she shot Tommy. Talking about plot armor.
She shot
Tommy.
Shot Tommy in the face, and he just survives.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at that because I don't even like Tommy. I hate Tommy at this point. Like I don't like him. And like this happened, and I was so mad. I was like Tommy is. I don't even like him. That's the worst part. I hate him, and I thought he died, and I was like. I can't believe that this has happened. But I was so mad.
I assume we all thought he was dead till the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was dead until we saw him at the farm.
Literally. There's no way. I'm like, no way he's surviving that. And then I thought that was another death they were just going to brush over. But yeah, they had this scuffle, and then the bit that just got me was when Dina come in, started stabbing Abby up and stuff. And then fucking Abby just like beats her head off the fucking floor, and that sound for that was grim, man. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's fucking pregnant. I was shouting it at the screen. She's fucking pregnant. And then obviously Ellie's like start.
But what you got from Abby's part of
she doesn't know
at that point. She's thinking, no, it doesn't even matter. But she does know it doesn't even matter because she's killed all her friends, and she knows that Ellie killed Owen, and she knows that Ellie killed Mel.
Yeah.
And she's looking at it thinking, you are literally the epitome of evil. You could not get more worse as a person. She must be at that point. She must view Ellie as even worse than she viewed Joel.
Yeah,
100%. But obviously, then she's like, no, she's pregnant, and then she's like, good. I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
She's getting revenge. She's getting revenge for her friend that killed, who's also super fucking
at that point, I was like, no, Abby, no.
Yeah, that was very like
MVP.
Lev stepped in, and this is where it comes down to Lev being
the MVP.
Moral compass.
I was legit and like Lev, you are
Lev being the Ellie to Abby's Joel.
Yeah,
exactly how that works. Because what I liked the difference from the first game is when Joel loses Ellie, Joel goes. He reverts all the way and goes full back to bad guy. Starts torturing dudes. He does anything to get back to Ellie at that point. And you can tell that Ellie's the one that made him the better person. And it's the exact same thing with Lev and Abby.
Yeah. He brings the humanity back out of Abby, same as Ellie did to Joel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he stops her. Luckily, because I was like, I fucking love Dina. You fuck off.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I never want to see you again, and walks out. And I genuinely thought the game was going to end there.
The game could have ended there.
Yeah.
The game could have ended there.
And then
you get the farm.
The farm.
And everything to do with the farm.
Oh,
I thought we'd pay out the farm and that would be it.
I thought the farm
was awesome.
Was going to be like, you know how in Red Dead Redemption 2, when you play as Thingy in the stables, John, later. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like that, sort of. You're just like living your life happy, and then it was going to end, but no.
So who else here was grinning the whole time? Ellie was telling shitty dad jokes to the kid.
Oh, it's brilliant! It's brilliant when she was sitting on the tractor.
Did you sit on the tractor long enough to hear her sing the potato song?
I didn't know.
Oh my god, that
I don't
potato
think I
song.
did.
That's your mistake.
Potato,
Replay,
potato.
because she sings a little song to the baby
You're
about him
my
being a
little
potato.
potato.
And catch me there, like crying, like watching this whole scene, and she starts singing the potato song, and I'm ugly crying. I'm like sobbing all over my PlayStation controller. It was too wholesome. I wasn't ready for it. It was horrible.
Can I just quickly say something? Is there fireworks going on in the background somewhere?
It's mine. They are literally. I can hear it through my headphones.
Is your window open?
Nope.
That's right. That's crazy.
We'll just have to deal with it.
The farm scene is when you start to really see the mental damage that Ellie has taken over the time.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
When you can see she's really suffering with PTSD, basically, at that point.
Yeah.
And the only way that she thinks that she can resolve it is by finishing the job, basically.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That doesn't come into her mind at that point.
She starts thinking that because Tommy comes and tells her where.
Because Tommy comes and implants it in her head. Tommy comes back. This is when you find out Tommy's alive, and Tommy's fucked up. He can barely walk. One of his eyes is basically gone.
Yeah,
he's messed up.
Yeah, he lost his eye because Abby shot him in the head, and he can't walk because of Lev's arrow through his leg. I think.
Yeah.
I was so mad at this point. I was like shouting at the TV because I know like she's got the PTSD and stuff. I understand that, but for me, it was like she's finally kind of moved on and she's got this life and they've got the baby. And for him to come back and him to say that to her, I was like, he's obviously never loved Ellie like Joel loved Ellie, because if he did, he would never have asked that of her. He wouldn't.
He's very selfish.
Put the blame on her like the way he did, and I was like, this is how I know my hatred of Tommy from one was justified. It was all leading up to this moment. He's a scumbag. He's the worst person in the game.
I honestly don't believe that before this point Tommy was a bad guy, and then he got so hurt that he became so bitter that he had nothing else to concentrate on at that point. He'd broken up with Maria. Maria and him were no longer together at that point. And then afterwards, Dina goes out and tells him, "What the hell are you actually doing?"
And I was like,
do not come to my house and do this.
Fucking tell him. Like that's what annoyed me about Tommy.
At that point, the damage was
because I was like, at the start of the game, Tommy, it was Ellie saying this shit to Tommy.
Yeah.
And that got reversed at the end of the game, and I'm just like, you fucking put that map away, Tommy. You leave it. Hello, Kitty.
I know, it's crawling all over me at the moment. Hello, buddy. Go on then. See ya.
But I was so angry at Tommy at this point. I was just like, I like Tommy just generally, and all the way up to this point, and I was just like, at that point, I fucking hate him. Fucking scumbag, scum of the earth.
At that point, he's a bad guy.
He
is a bad guy, and it's because he feels so guilty, and he's just so bitter.
He's a broken man at this point.
Yeah.
Everything's been took from him. He's lost everything. Ellie still has something to hold on to at this point.
And he came and ruined it.
Yeah, he did. He did. And like, you know, at that point, even though she didn't go straight away, you know she's going. She's going. And she didn't she play the guitar a little bit before this? I feel like she does.
Yes.
Is this when we get another flashback, don't we? Do we?
No, there's no flashback.
There was another flashback that we didn't talk about, but in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that important. It was just Tommy teaching her how to use the sniper rifle, and then her and Joel going to the music shop to get more strings, and it's kind of like it's kind of showing that they're sort of growing apart.
Yeah,
kind of. She wants her like independence, and he's not willing to give it to her. Essentially.
Yeah.
Well, that's after the big flashback where Ellie finds out that Joel lied to her.
Oh yeah, we've skipped out this whole over this whole bit.
Completely skipped that. I was just thinking now, but Ellie finds out that Joel lied to her about the first game, and that he's the one that took her away and killed all the firefighters, basically.
That's the thing, like,
and that's why she's so angry at him.
Yeah, the fact that you just know all this time that she fucking knew, she knew about it, and it's just like, heavy man, heavy shit. And that's why they're so awkward.
Yeah.
And that's what that makes sense now. But so then she goes to leave. Dina comes down. She's like, "Don't go. Like, you've got everything here. We can work through this and all that." And she says she can't let it go, and she has to go. But Dina's like, we're done then.
When,
Basically,
if you go, we're not going to be here when you come back.
Yeah.
And she was in the end, she was right.
Although
I think Dana was fully justified in feeling like that.
I agree.
Because at that point, Ellie had done so much, and if Dina and the baby meant so much to her, then why should she be doing this? And Ellie was, and again, Ellie was wrong to do this.
Speaking about the baby, it's JJ. So it's Jesse Joel, right?
It's gotta be.
It's not Junior. Neil Druckmann came out and said that. There's no Junior in the names. It's got to be Jesse Joel. It's not going to be Joel.
I would say so.
I love it. It's great.
The flashback also was the one that wasn't it the original thing we got shown at one of the E3s where we see what happened at the dance?
No, that's not yet. We don't have that yet.
Not yet.
You do see that.
That's one of the last things you see.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that might actually be the last thing you see.
No, the last one's with him on the porch, isn't it? I'm talking about the bit that happens inside the actual dance.
I think the dance flashback is at some point during the barn, the farmhouse scene. I think you're all right.
Maybe.
I think you are. But anyway, that's the scene we had at E3, and the scene that is alluded to at the start of the game where they kiss Dina and Ellie.
Yeah.
I was like thinking throughout the whole game, like, are we ever going to see this scene? Because like we obviously
had already in trailers.
We've seen it in the trailers. I was like, are they literally just putting out a trailer and then assuming we've seen it? I mean, you don't really need it in terms of context, but like obviously you find out that Joel was trying to defend her there against that.
But Joel defending her wasn't part of the trailer, was it?
No,
that's
the extra bit.
They left that out. Yeah.
Because he called them dykes, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a bigot. So then Joel defends her, and then she's like, "What are you doing, Joel?" Because obviously that
right now.
At that point, she's fell out with Joel because of the whole thing that happened in 1. So obviously she doesn't want him to be defending her. And then obviously we're in the farm. So then obviously go back. She leaves to go to Santa Barbara to find Abby. And then we get to a little bit of Abby and Lev.
Yeah, there's basically they find like a little firefly bunker.
Lev's got some
hair. They go back outside and they get caught by rattlers. Just another
Dog the Bounty Hunter. The guy looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. But also, these are the only enemies in the game.
There's a line that Abby says at that bit while they're grabbing Lev. She goes, "Don't you fucking touch him." She says the exact same line that Ellie says at the start when they're killing Joel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The Rattlers are just genuine bad guys. Like, you think of the Wolves, you think of the Seraphite, they kind of have some kind of like, you don't necessarily, they're bad guys in some people's eyes, but not necessarily in others. Like, they're not all bad. These guys are fucking just scumbags. Like,
they're just slavers and make people work fields for them till they die.
So these are the only guys I had no qualms about killing. Like, I was killing every single one. The only ones I didn't kill is the dogs, but that's still a thing. But like, all the guys, I was like, you're fucking dead. I'm gonna kill you all. Like, I didn't care because I just needed to get to Abby at that point. And obviously they take Abby and Lev, and then when you go back to Ellie finds them. They attack her. She gets strung up on the trap.
Yeah, she gets caught in the trap.
And then obviously they come.
She can't walk out.
You're quoting the song.
Then so they cut her down. They're going to take her. The one dumb mercenary guy.
Yeah. What an idiot!
Yeah, Ellie's just like, oh sweet, you give me a chance.
She was proper badass in that part. Though.
She was, to be fair, she was just like, laughing at him and calling him a pussy. Yeah,
and then you know what she's doing because like it doesn't matter if she gets bit.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, at that point.
So then obviously those guys get fucking wrecked by Ellie, and then obviously he tells the main dog, the barrier looking guy, goes and tells her that they're in this building. Abby's in this building, the prison. So
and then she still hard murders him. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. He deserved it. He's a fucking prick.
100%.
Those guys are the only ones that I was like, they're all dickheads. So then she murders through a load of people to get to her. I did like the whole mechanic gameplay wise in this, where I wanted to call them walkers then. the infected are
chained up,
and you can release them on the world.
Yeah.
Literally, I let them do all my fights a lot of the time because that building was full of a fuckload of people, and I just sent them all in.
Some of them had armor on as well, so it took like took twice as much ammo to kill them.
Yeah, it took a long time to clear that building. I
did find a good mechanic though there, where because they had body armor and they had the helmet, if you got an arrow in their neck, they'd still take only one.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
You get an arrow in the neck,
it had to be literally twice as accurate.
But then obviously you get through all that, you get to the prison, you have a fight with some woman. The prisoners choke her, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
breaking
out all the slave people. They go. Well, one of them goes to shoot you, and you're like, "Don't fucking point that gun at me."
Because you bit them.
They think she's infected. Then you ask where Abby is, and I say you. Ellie asks where Abby is, and then they tell her she's at some kind of like, was it the holes?
The pillars.
The pillars, and then you head out towards that. And you know at this point, right? This is the end of the game. We're getting there now.
Yeah.
And you get to the pillars. Did anyone else go to the other woman that looked like Abby with the hair?
Me.
Because I did.
That's on purpose. Though. You meant to think she still got the ponytail.
Because I was like
pressing the button and nothing was happening. And I was like, oh,
what am I supposed to do? And then obviously you hear coughing, and that's Abby, and you turn around and she's there. And you just look at her, and she's
all fucked up.
She's fucked up. She's lost all her muscle mass because obviously she's been there for like a month or something like that. She's wrecked. You cut her down. But I feel like at this point, Ellie just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
She's just like...
Yeah, at this point, Ellie's considering just letting them go.
Yeah, because she's like...
just letting Abby go.
She's looking at Abby and she's like... She's weak. I feel like it's a similar situation to what, obviously Owen explaining like he didn't want to kill that old guy because he had no fight left in him. And Abby has no fight left in her at this point. She's just like...
She doesn't. She even tells her straight up, like...
I'm not doing this.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
And I think the fact that Ellie sees her go straight for Lev kind of reminds her of like how Joel was for her. Obviously, and the fact that Abby's even being helpful at this point, she's like boats her this way to Ellie, like, and she knows who she is. It's like, and then obviously, I feel like at this point when they get to the boats, Ellie becomes the villain here because she's like, "Fight me," and then Abby's like, "No, I'm not doing this." And then it's like, "You will," and puts the knife to Lev's throat. And I'm like, you're the villain here, Ellie.
I don't think Ellie would have actually done it, though.
No, yeah. But Abby can't take that risk.
Because Lev hadn't done anything to Ellie at all.
No. But I feel like Ellie was so consumed with her anger, she might have. Possibly.
No, I don't think so.
But it still gets Abby to fight her, and they have the fight. I didn't like this fight at all. Nothing to do with gameplay. I found it very difficult to do. It was very hard.
I let Abby kill me in this fight to see if the game would let it happen, and it didn't.
I didn't.
And you have to fight, and I feel like it's kind of unrealistic because because Ellie has a knife and Abby doesn't, and the amount of cuts that Abby takes in this fight.
Yeah.
That person's gonna bleed out.
To be honest, the fact that either of them can fight at this point is a bit ridiculous.
Like,
I mean, Ellie's got a massive puncture wound in her side.
Yeah.
You know, she's.
You
can't fight well with someone like that. Not with any sort of strength.
It's just really sad that Ellie was so close to letting her go, and then she didn't.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now,
so
see,
sad.
This was something that I had seen. I already knew that Ellie let Abby go at the end, and the thing I read said she has a vision of Joel, and she realizes, like this isn't the right thing to do. Now, that sounded better on paper to me because when I actually saw it, I didn't like it. That little flash of Joel, I thought it wasn't enough.
I preferred that.
I think it would have been better for Lev to kind of sit up and be like,
Abby, no,
please don't. And then for Ellie to realise, like, okay, like, I'm the bad guy, this is wrong, let them go. I think that it wasn't enough. I know you get the scene later and it explains the scene in full, and obviously, like, it makes more sense that way, but I don't know, I thought it's a bit more...
It's two different. She gets the initial flashback where Joel dies, and that's why she turns back on Ellie.
Yeah,
and
then she was going to let her go at that point.
Which afterwards you learn that is it was afterwards or before? I can't remember.
You learn it afterwards.
That's it. Then you get that scene where Joel's talking about Joel and her talking about forgiveness.
I know. I get it now that I've seen that bit, but at the time I was thinking, because like obviously I already knew she had the flashback. I knew what was going to happen, and I just kind of I thought there'd be more to it. You know, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I think that bit would have probably been a bit better if when they got to the boats, Ellie had just said, "Go before I change my mind." Like, you know, like.
No, I feel like they had to have the fight.
You could actually see, like, make it seem like she was struggling with the decision, but let her make the decision rather than like, or you know, I mean, that whole fight just seemed a bit like not needed. At the end,
it was a difficult fight to do in terms of like emotionally. Like I didn't want to do it.
You got to think that whole fight to kill Abby was the only reason that Ellie was there to begin with.
That's all she's got left.
Ellie wouldn't be there if she wasn't there to kill Abby, literally, and therefore she wouldn't be there to save Abby.
Yeah, she's like, you got to think like in Ellie's head, she's like, I have sacrificed everything
for this,
and to walk away from it can't be easy for her. And it obviously clearly isn't.
And then that's Ellie basically becoming Abby, because Abby was consumed with killing Joel. That's all she cared about. That's what Ellie is now doing.
Yeah, and then obviously she gets that flashback of Joel just looking at her at the porch for that bit. And I think she
flashback killed me. That flashback
when he just looks at her all a bit later.
And Joel is like crying. You can tell he's crying.
Yeah.
Inside,
the and fucking like, acting in this game is fucking on point.
Oh my god, they got
Abby bites two of Ellie's fingers off too before we completely skip over that.
Yeah, because the flashback, that flashback,
and I feel like that's very significant.
Yeah, that flashback probably isn't until later when she tries to strum the guitar.
Play the guitar.
Obviously, she lets it go. We don't know what happened in between. They get back. She goes back to the house.
It took Ellie months to get to Santa Barbara.
She must be.
If you look through the diary.
I wonder how she dealt with her wounds, because she was fucking punctured.
2 or 3 months. So it would have took her about that much time to get back.
Did anyone think Ellie was going to die at that point in the water, where she was just going to like die there and then? Because I did. Because she's been punctured in the fucking like side.
I thought she was just going to die there. With Ellie dying and Abby and Lev being the continuation of The Last of Us, basically. But now I don't know. I still don't know how it's going to go.
So obviously, like she goes back to the house to find it empty, apart from one room where all her shit is, all the fucking reminders of Joel, like all the fucking wooden statues and shit. It's fucking sad as fuck when you walk in that room. And then obviously you find the guitar. You go to play it. Obviously, Abby bit off Ellie's fingers in the fight.
Yeah.
And then she goes to play the song. She
can't play it anymore.
What's it called? The song?
She can. She'll just have to learn. She'll just have to learn to play the guitar left-handed instead.
That's right. Kate's like, just turn it around.
Yeah, I'll like flip it over, change the strings, play it like that.
I don't think that's the point. No, I think the whole point of them showing that is that in her wanted need for revenge, she's lost one of the most important things Joel gave her.
She's lost
she already lost Joel, but now she's lost even more than that.
She's lost the connection she had to Joel, because that was a connection she had. Like that song that she was playing, like that's important to her. Like,
and it's gone,
and she's lost it. But I feel like her walking away and leaving the guitar there, like she could have learned it the other way around. I think it's her letting
it go finally.
Her letting go her loss of Joel, and just deciding. In my mind, I mean, you don't know this, but in my mind, she's going back to Dina. She's going to try and find Dina at Jackson, because I imagine that's where she's gone.
I imagine she's almost definitely going to Jackson.
Yeah,
but she hasn't got anywhere else to go.
Yeah, I think. Well, I could see a scenario where she's going to sort herself out first, just like generally in the wilderness, and then she'll go back. But what I've seen on the internet, which is interesting, when she leaves to go after Abby, she's not wearing the bracelet, the bracelet that Dina gave her.
Yeah.
Now, she goes back to the house. She's wearing the bracelet. She's not got all the weapons with her or anything. Obviously, it's been a bit of time because she looks a bit more healed up. So people are saying maybe she went back. She's already been back to Jackson. Dina had the bracelet. She's made it with Dina, and she's going back to the house, knowing Joel's stuff's there, to kind of like as a last like goodbye to Joel. Which for me, I like to believe that because that's a happier ending in my opinion. Like the fact that she gets
if that did happen, why didn't they just show it?
No, Neil Druckmann did say that he wanted to keep it open to interpretation, which they did.
So if you believe Ellie's the villain, you believe that she got what she deserved. If you still have affection for Ellie, you can imagine that scenario.
After all this, do you think we're going to get a Last of Us Part 3?
Definitely, because we need to sort out this business with a cure.
Well, to be fair,
you can't have the whole scenario and then not
quickly. What I'll say, when you go back to the start screen, the boat is Lev and Abby's boat that they took at the end of the game in Catalina, where the Fireflies are. It is. So they got there. Whether they found the Fireflies, we don't know. But like, I imagine that is going to lead into the third one. That I don't. Think
it makes you wonder if the Fireflies are going to go after Ellie again.
Yeah, there's got to be. The thing is, though, the one problem I have with this whole thing, like, there's got to be more than one doctor who can come up with a cure. Right?
It's not really the doctor that's the problem. It's having the equipment.
Yeah, but if there's another sector of Fireflies,
you say that. You look at how well equipped the wolves were, and for some reason, whatever they were seem to be far more well equipped than the Fireflies were.
Though either. You might have a doctor who, if you had the actual equipment to manufacture the cures, could do it. But that's the problem. The equipment won't exist anymore. Yeah. It'll have broke down. It won't exist. You can't maintain
That's the exact same reason why people say that the Fireflies found the cure in the first game didn't matter because they couldn't mass produce it.
Exactly.
I feel like in the third one they're gonna try. I think they'll probably. Abby knows about her. She knows she's the cure.
The flashback with Joel, the one that when you get the expanded flashback of him sitting on the porch, when she's like, when she says to him like, "My life could have mattered," and I'm there like, it mattered to him. Your life mattered to him, but maybe she will set off ready to die for this cure.
I think if it's the third game and if it's about her, then I think that's going to be the point.
The first game was like love. This one was hate. Is the next one going to be about redemption?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because like, there's a lot of symbolism in this game, especially with the Fireflies and the Muff. But the Fireflies are a source of light. The Muff is always attracted to light, no matter where it is. Now, the way I see it, her leaving the guitar there, like she's coming out of that darkness, now going back towards the light. In terms of just general life, I feel like could that be a thing where the source of light is the Fireflies? She wants to make good on being the cure, kind of do what she wanted to do in the first place.
And the flashback too makes the whole, because some people are like, why would she go off on that rampage? Like, just like, I know she's upset, but why? But when you see that flashback and she's like, he asked her to forgive him, and she's like, I can't right now, but I want to be able to. And then she never got that chance. Yeah. She never got that chance to say to him, like, okay, well, like, we're okay now.
Do you reckon Joel, when he sees her just before he's going to die, do you reckon he thinks maybe if she's here now, like, trying to save his life, that she's forgiven him?
Yeah.
At that point.
Oh, definitely at that point. Through his mind, he's going to be thinking, if she's here, there's no way that she can't.
But the thing is, like, that gives me a happier thought about him, like how he felt at the end of his death. But then I thought, but he's still going to see that she's in danger, so it doesn't really help that much, does it? But yeah.
And Chris extra killed me. Chris extra ended my life by saying that in the first one, reminding me that in the first one, when Sam asks Ellie like what she's most afraid of, she says ending up alone.
And she does.
And that's how the game ends, and it's really devastating.
There's a video. I sent you guys.
And she 100% brought that on herself.
Yeah.
I know that's the most tragic thing, isn't it?
But the issue is that if she didn't go back that second time to kill Abby would be dead.
Yeah.
That's true. That's ironic.
Yeah.
That's everything about the game, though, isn't it? Like, you could say that about everything. Like, if Joel didn't kill Abby's dad, Abby wouldn't be there to kill Joel. All these events wouldn't have happened. Abby wouldn't feel the need, like, she wouldn't have had that turning point where she's like, I need to go and help these kids.
Yeah.
And by helping the kids, Lev couldn't have saved Dina's life. It's like, it's a big knock-on effect. Everything is a knock-on effect.
Mm.
And it's really sad.
It's
a very sad game.
It's a sad game, and it took me like a week and a bit to get over it. Don't think I'm quite over it yet, to be fair. But it's it's a special game, and it's done something that I don't think any video game's done before it in terms of narrative and how it makes you feel as a player. Like, I don't think any other video game's done that for me personally. For me, anyway.
Not much at all.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Not nearly as much as what this game did it.
Game of the year for
sure.
me so far. Obviously, we got stuff coming out like Cyberpunk and
Horizon.
stuff.
We got
Horizon's
Ghost
next year,
Tsushima
it's not next year.
and Horizon next year. Ghost Tsushima and Cyberpunk really the next two.
Oh yes, Cyberpunk could be the other one that will challenge this one probably.
Yeah.
It was like my game of the year before this was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was amazing. I absolutely loved that. Didn't think I'd find a game better, but here we are. The thing is, I can't say I don't think I enjoyed this game. But like, it's not saying it's a bad game or anything. I like, it's a great game. It's an amazing game. It's one of the best games I've ever fucking played. But it was hard to get through at times, and it was a fucking emotional, like, fucking toll.
roller coaster.
It took its toll on you when you're playing it, man. And it's a fucking, it's crazy shit. And
Yeah.
it's one of them. I don't think this game will ever be forgotten. And like,
What I will say is, all of us I think we can all agree that the negativity it's had around in the media is definitely not justified.
Well, especially
And
the racial, sexist, homophobic.
forget all that. I'm not even thinking about that because that's all bullshit. I'll write it off immediately.
Yeah.
But even then, the reasons that people have for it being a bad game just seem to be people not giving it much of a chance.
Yeah,
and getting to a certain point and giving up.
Yeah,
you know
people
what?
who got to Joel and then gave up. Yeah.
You know what? I get what you're saying, and yeah, the game is so much more than that, and it is worth playing. But at the same time, I can understand being so devastated by a character dying. Like, not obviously to go off and spread hate on the internet. Like, that's a different story. Like we said, we're not even going to talk about that. But like, being so devastated that you don't want to carry on. I can fully understand that. I've done that with like books I've been reading, like shows I've been watching where like my favourite character dies and I'm like, I can't carry on. So I get that in a respect. But like, I mean, I love Joel. I was so sad, but it just made me want to play the game because I wanted that revenge. And the worst part is I'd read the spoilers and I knew I wasn't going to get it. But I wanted that sort of like, I wanted the build up. I wanted the revenge on anyone I could get it on before I got to Abby.
It's a powerful game, and it
is.
It puts you through a lot. Like Tommy says at the start of the game, it's a lot. Like when Joel's telling him about what happened in the first game, but like it's just the hate on the internet isn't warranted. I will happily sit there and listen to anyone who's got constructive criticism about the game. That's fine. Like, and I can probably understand some issues with certain parts because even I have some issues with certain parts, but the fact that the rest of the game is just absolutely fucking stunning, it kind of overrides some of the issues I have with it. But the hate that's being spread about it is ridiculous. The fucking review bombing that happened 12 hours after the game released. Clearly,
there's no possible way you could play that game
legit. And
then review it like that. There's no way. There's no time in the world enough to do that and then put that on there. It's stupid.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, to anyone watching, if you think, I've seen the spoilers, and I don't want to play it, don't let that happen. Like, literally, the spoilers are nothing without context. This game is amazing. And it's everything it does is just powerful, and I feel like even for non-gamers, like this is something people should experience. Because even if a non-gamer just watch through it, like it's it does something that even movies can't do, I think.
Definitely. I feel like because you've played through these characters and you've played through them for such a long time, and there's that interactive experience that you definitely feel more attached to these people.
Yeah.
You impose yourself more on them than you would somebody you just watch move on a screen.
Yeah,
for 100%. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the TV show for The Last of Us, though. Especially because
I very much doubt it'll be done well.
Well, you know what though? You know what though?
I'm not holding out hope it's going to be any good.
Neil Druckmann's working on it. He's one of the head directors and writers. So,
like I said, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah,
I've never seen a video game adaptation of something that's hit me as hard as a video game.
I have more faith in it being good because the actual person who made the game is involved heavily. I have more faith. I don't think it will be as good. I don't think it will have the same impact as the game. I don't think it can. But
it might not even be about the story. It might just be like
no, it is
another story in the world.
It is the story. I've said
it is.
Yeah. However, I do feel a lot of people don't play video games. I feel like it becoming a TV show, like this is a kind of story that just like it's above what it is in terms of a video game in terms of a medium. Like the story's good regardless of what format it's in.
Yeah.
So this TV show, at least the story. If they stick to the story will be good. It might not have as powerful effect on people or whatever, but it'll still be a good show, I think, because of that. Because if the story's good, the story's good. You can't, unless it's like directed bad or like the bad acting or whatever, you can't really take away from that.
If anything, we'll probably get the situation where people who have not played the game will probably watch the show and think, "Oh, this is pretty good." And if people
play the game,
we'll look at it and think, "This is not comparable."
I think a lot of people play the game will think it's not as good. I still think it'll be decent though. Like it'd be better than the majority of video game adaptations.
We just
I'm
don't
looking
know,
forward
so
to
we'll
it.
wait and see for that.
I'm looking forward to it. But
I think that's pretty much The Last of Us 2.
That was The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I'm sure it won't be the last one.
But, I'm sure it won't be the last one if for the only reason they can't leave that money on the floor.
Yeah.
Because that isn't it's an instant sell. And they know it.
We'll be back 7 years later.
Probably.
Yeah.
About the time the PS6 comes out, guys.
Legit, yeah.
That might be what they do.
We know the end of the generation PS5 will be when the next one comes out.
Although I don't think that will be the next Last of Us we'll be playing because they're doing a multiplayer something that was meant to be part of this game. It got too big for being a separate part of this game.
Which implies it isn't just like a deathmatch or scavenger
style.
I
would love to see like maybe possibly like a Division style Last of Us thing. I don't think the story would be as good, but even though
the thing is
that could be cool.
In something like Division style, they could show the future stuff just after this game.
They can even they can even go backwards.
Yeah,
even
just happened.
They could. If they're never intending to play Ellie as a character again in another game, they might still be able to show you what happens to her afterwards if it was Division style.
I would love if they go backwards and show.
I don't think that they'll do that in a multiplayer setting.
No, I don't think they would do that.
What I think would be really cool is if they do. This is what happened 5 years after the outbreak.
Yeah, I want it because there's 20 years between Sarah's death at the start of Last of Us 1 and Joel, you playing as Joel at the start of Last of Us 1. There's 20 years there. I want that filled with something. You know what I mean? I was kind of hoping the TV show would do that. I thought that would have been pretty cool because I don't think it needs to
fill the gap.
I don't think it needs to be the story of the game necessarily, but I don't mind that. But I think that would have been cool to fill that gap. But you never know. It makes money. Sony will do something about that. I'm sure they'll make something worthwhile. But yeah, that was Last of Us 2, guys.
That's Last of Us 2, guys. Yeah. Good time.
Leave a comment on what you think, but do keep it constructive. We don't want any hate, any actual genuine sexist, racist, transphobic, that will be deleted.
If you have any sexist or anti-gay or anti-trans things put in the comments right now, that's fine. You can unsubscribe and leave this channel right now.
We don't want you here. Legit.
That's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I have no problem saying that.
And your comment will be deleted, but we don't want you here.
We reported and then deleted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that We're not about that
Not
life,
gonna stand for
and
that.
I'm not standing for it.
Exactly.
But constructive criticism and debate within the comments is fine, as long as it's constructive and you're nice to each other. I don't want anyone hating on each other. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you like what we're doing and you want to see more. Me and Kate are playing through The Last of Us, streaming it. So the first bit's up if you want to go watch that. It's about 2.5 hours in, so up to where Joel dies.
So about a tenth of the game.
Yeah. So, but we're going to be trying to do that semi-regularly. So there'll be more of that coming. So yeah. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
If you like that video and want to see more like it, then click this playlist button here. If you happen to want to subscribe to us and check out all our content, then click this amazing, sexy button right here. Look how enticing it is. You know you want to click it. And if you're already subscribed to us, well then you are already an awesome human being.